light breaking, we are taking, this is our time. Just breathe, this will be a hard fight. The truth cash out in the night.
What's up, Johnny? How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
I am in a great state of mind. Life is good. I'm happy. Things are going very, very well. I cannot complain at all.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on the verge of getting a dream job.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I don't really go into details or at all about my personal life and what I do for a living. But let's just say I had a contract. It was a long-term contract. I was on it for 4 years. That ended, which is the nature of the beast of what I do for a living. And so I did try something else well, I took a month off, didn't really push things really hard, just relaxed for a month. Then I started seriously looking for employment, tried to do something outside of the field that I was doing. I was miserable. I was so unhappy. I literally every day I was unhappy. And so on the same day that I left that job, within an hour, I got a phone call um, by a client that wanted to hire my services. So by 2 o'clock, I got off work. 3 o'clock, I'm at home, and I'm already on a Zoom call, or one of those types of Zoom calls, talking to the guy, going over everything, and so now I'm back in the field that I enjoy, and I'll be probably starting that tomorrow. I'm doing a in-person meet with the client tomorrow at noon. So please prayers for me. Everything should be good. And then I'll start working that contract that evening. So really excited about it. Really excited about it.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad you found something you like because it is the worst thing in the world to have a job that you can't stand.
Correct.
And we spend
Um,
so much of our time at work, no matter what you do. It makes a big difference if you're very unhappy.
I mean, I had a lot of opportunity in the same field. I just declined those opportunities, mostly because they were too far away. I was looking at you running about 1,000 miles a week on my vehicle, and I just thought that was crazy. The pay was good, but it was just the travel and stuff like that, and I just wasn't in that place where I could just move, change my location to be closer to those positions. So I just waited. And granted, this position is good. I like it. It meets my criteria, but it doesn't pay as well as those other ones. But the market there is a lot bigger. You know what I mean?
You
Um,
know,
but I'm happy, dude. I'm very excited. Very excited. So,
well, good, man. I'm
um,
glad that worked out.
how's things going in your life? How's the new baby? Anything going on new in your area?
Personal life wise, everything's going pretty good. The baby's doing excellent. She's getting very fat and happy, which is great. She is spoiled rotten. My wife is, man, she's at the top of the list when it comes to mothers, and she's extremely attentive. Hardly ever gets frustrated. I mean, she's human. She does every once in a while.
Well, they
But
say the last child benefits the most.
well, it's this one. For those people that do not know, my wife and I had our first two kids, and they're only 2 years apart. And then after we had my son, which was the youngest, my wife, she was like, "All right, well, I think I'm done. We got a boy and we got a girl." I'm like, "All right." So I went and had the appropriate procedure done. And about 2.5 years later, she changed her mind. So I went and had the appropriate procedure to undo the process so we could try again. Well, that didn't work because I think it's after like a year and a half or 2 years, your percentages go down like 25% a year, something crazy like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. Anyway, it didn't work. So we kind of put it off, and then she looked into adoption, and we looked into foster care, stuff like that, and nothing really struck. We just couldn't figure out exactly what she was wanting to do or what felt right. And then she was like, "Well, what about IVF?" I'm like, we'll see. You know, so we went through it, and everything went off. We were very, very blessed. Went off without a hitch.
I wish I
Very.
still had the pictures. I would pop them up on screen because she's adorable.
Oh yeah, she's cutie. She
Yeah,
is
we need to
definitely
make her a
cute.
part of the show. So every time we have a show, you give me an up to date photo that we can show people and make her famous.
Oh well, she's definitely my. This is the only thing. I love my children to death, but the only way that they've disappointed their father is the fact that they are not infatuated with Sasquatch. So this third child,
You're
I've
gonna make
already
it
picked
happen.
out the carrier backpack and the whole nine. I told my wife, so this is going to be the woods baby, whether she likes it or not.
We're gonna see a picture of your newborn with a body cam.
Oh, yeah,
Already
yeah,
on a
right there
body
on her
cam.
head. Oh, yeah,
Oh man. So we
yeah.
we
Use
have
her as
this.
bait.
So just let everybody know. It's not the exact date, because of course scheduling plays a part. But this is our 1 year anniversary show. It is. We started this show December of last year, and we've been rocking and rolling, man. I think we did great this year. Some glitches here and there. I think out of the entire year, we had, I think, just one cancellation as far as the guest goes. Um, we had some fantastic guests, some memorable
Oh yeah,
guests, some that I'll never forget. We've made great friends. We've made some really good friends. We've made contacts in the Bigfoot world that we can call and talk to and stuff like that. It's just been fantastic year. And so we decided, let's do something, and we're going to bring back, just so you guys know, because I did not announce how the show was going to go because I wanted you guys to be surprised, but we're going to bring back some researchers that we had on the show in the past and find out what's going on in the world of researching, what's going on, what's new, get some ideas, some theories. I did sit down today and made a list of questions and stuff like that I hopefully we can get to. Thank you, John. He says congratulations. You were a part of that, John. John was a great guest. We appreciate you, John. John's always been a great supporter. There's some people in here that have always been great supporters. Lenny and
Mr.
who else do
Aphis.
we have? Yes, Mr. Avis himself.
He almost
Sharon.
he spent a
Yeah.
lot of time trying to convince my daughter to become a doctor, and I greatly appreciate it. Now she didn't listen at all, but Lenny's good people.
Lenny is awesome. Lenny is awesome. Matter of fact, I have it right here on my desk. I don't know if y'all can see this. I don't know if it'll show up because I'm running a green screen, but it's a Sasquatch flask, and that was from Lenny. I also got behind me. I got a mug that Lenny had mailed me, and that was awesome. So, and I use it a lot. Yep,
I have
he's got
mine
yours too.
too.
So Lenny is
Although,
awesome. John's awesome.
although, wait,
Day
wait, wait, wait,
Tripper is
wait, wait, wait,
awesome.
wait, wait. You got a flask and a mug?
What happened? Just on
Oh no,
Lenny's
I'm done.
defense.
Nope,
Lenny's
nope,
defense.
nope. We're done
when
here.
when I was going to Ohio, Lenny was actually going to Ohio. He was going to be a part of that thing that was going on up in Ohio. At the last minute, we had a hurricane move up the coast. Lenny didn't feel comfortable making the drive, so he stayed home. Those were gifts that he was giving to a group of people, different people that were there at that was going to be in Ohio. But since he couldn't make it, he had to mail them out. So I got a Yeti, a personalized Yeti mug that says, Bigfoot Florida guy on it. We will find
That's
you.
awesome, man.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool, and I use it a lot. My favorite was the Beast. I have a mug called the Beast. I now use Lenny's mug because it's just so much better. So, but we got a lot of great guests tonight. I'm not gonna tell y'all who they all are until as we bring them on. We have two backstage right now, and I will bring them on together because they are a team. I think it was the first team duo that we had on the show, and they're amazing. If you guys go back, you've got to look at it. They're all numbered, but I'll bring them on, and I will introduce Troy and Desi with Sasquatch Origins. Hey guys,
Hey,
how
Rick.
are you doing?
Doing great, Rick.
What's
Man, I
going
miss you
on?
guys.
Awesome.
Doing awesome, Rick. Johnny Two Bears. Congrats on your 1 year. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm running through some stuff with my voice, so
Oh
hope
yeah,
it's coming
you
through
sound
okay,
like
man.
you sound like you're fighting something for real there.
You sound better than what you normally sound like. So
Oh, that sounds about
Well,
right.
you have kids. It's probably from screaming at your kids.
You know, you got that right. Hearing about Johnny Two Bears IVF journey and all that. Yep, brought me right back to our two 5-year-olds. You got it, man.
Yeah. Did
5-year-olds.
you
Wow.
two
Yep.
5-year-olds? You have twins?
We got twin boys, yeah, and
Oh
we
wow.
the, the foster and adoption process ourselves. So I know the whirlwind you and your wife Ron going through that, man. So congrats
Man,
to
all
you,
the
new
the
one.
shots and I felt so bad for her having to go through all the shot. I mean, just one shot after another, and then I was having to give her shots, and it was just man, it was crazy.
God bless you. That's for
But
sure. That's good.
the miracle of science, right? It's
Well,
absolutely amazing.
I
it
don't
is.
know if I've ever said this on the show, or I don't know if I've even told Johnny. I don't know because I don't think about it very much. I'm an identical twin.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And I don't think I've ever brought that up. I am an identical twin.
I knew that, but I don't think you brought it up on the air.
No, I don't think I've ever brought it up on the show. But I am an identical twin, and he doesn't live far from me, and he's not into this whatsoever. I wouldn't even discuss it with him because I'd probably be ridiculed. But he's a retired Marine, 22 years in the Marine Corps. Was a drill instructor at Paris Island and everything else, and did his time
Awesome.
overseas.
Very cool.
So just that's a little fact that people didn't know about me. I am an identical twin.
That's really cool.
And
Absolutely.
there,
Do y'all
so there's
share
two of you
like
out there.
What's that, Troy?
I said there's two of you out there.
There are
Yeah.
two of us, which is really funny.
Great.
And a lot of people don't know this, and I'm going to let y'all know. I have a nickname that when I'm not on the show, if you were here with me on a daily basis with my friends or anybody that knows me personally, they don't call me Rick, they don't call me Richard or anything like that. They call me Ditto. That's my nickname is Ditto, meaning two. It literally, and when I used to ride with a motorcycle club, that was my road name was Ditto because I'm an identical twin.
That's cool.
that's some good stuff right there. Yeah.
See, we're already becoming entertaining tonight. We do have other
Yeah.
guest guys, but there are one of them's at a Christmas party, and they're going to jump on as soon as they get home. And the other one's car broke down on the way home, so as soon as he gets home, he's going to jump on. So we do have other guests, and we're just going to have a great night, great discussion. Feel free, guys, to be yourselves and have fun and joke around, and there'll be some serious conversation and ideas and theories, but let's have some fun too. It's our 1-year anniversary. You can see Johnny. That message is for you on the screen, so you're aware.
Yeah, I saw that. Hey, don't feel bad, Mr. Athos. We're all good. I guess I'll just have to buy my own cup. That way I feel special.
Oh, he's just gouging it in there further.
Lenny's good people.
So, but like I was saying earlier, I created some questions. I was sitting down and thinking of some questions and stuff like that. And we can start those questions because when you have as many people we're going to have on the show tonight, 7 questions is a lot when everybody's got input, so it takes some time. So we can probably knock out a couple of them right off the bat or revisit them with the other guys if we need to. So
What about
Johnny,
I want to hear it, man. I want to hear Troy's story about these
yeah, about the
structures.
structures. Yeah, start all over, Troy. Start where you were at. And
Okay,
Desi, you jump in anytime you want.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
good, bud.
there was 3 of us that camped out there, and it was on the north side of a creek. So on this north side of the creek, we're out there at night, and we'd researched this area before. Anyhow, we were there this one evening, and around 10, 11 o'clock. Please, Desi, correct me if I'm wrong. We heard some voices kind of to the southwest, I think it was. That's right. And then there was some mumbling. We had a tree fall also in that same direction that evening. Um, and they had recorders running. And I don't remember if the recorders caught it or not. Desi, what was the outcome of that?
Yeah, so it's like Troy was saying, it started with like voices in the distance. And so immediately we assumed other people were out there. Maybe other people, I don't know, scouting for hunting, or just people doing things they shouldn't be doing in the woods, or who knows, maybe there are other squatchers like us. And so we tried to pinpoint that on audio, but did not get that. And it was very difficult to make out. It was more of like a murmuring or something very, tough to distinguish. But we did catch the tree fall. And when the tree fell, Troy, listening to that audio, caught something else before the tree fell. So we do have that on audio, which I'll let Troy jump in and share what he thinks that was. But the similarity is something in this field. We try to look for this call or listen for this call, and it was our first time catching it in that moment.
Yeah, the concerning part. Go ahead.
Oh,
So
no,
the
you're good.
Okay, the concerning part was the we believe it was an Ohio howl, but it was very far in the distance, and we did not hear it that night. The auto recorder picked it up, so that is a concern, because now we're worried. Okay, is there other researchers out here making a call and they're off in the distance? We actually heard them talking. We're not 100%. However, so we'll fast forward. Morning shows up. We did some research to the east, went up through there looking for tracks, looking for any types of sign. And I'm not a structure guy. I'm just not a structure guy. So as we came back, we went back up this trail or old fire break or old logging road. And it hasn't been used in, I'm guessing, maybe 20, 30 years, because it's all overgrown. But anyway, we make our way up through there, out back onto a main trail. I mean, it's a hiking trail. It's not a road. It's a hiking trail. So we go out, we leave. So a few weeks later, we go back. Maybe I think it was like 3 weeks. No, I'm sorry. It was the following weekend we went back. We go back in there on our bikes, and we're going to go all the way to the south, cross the creek all the way to the south. So we do that. There's nothing there, nothing new, nothing exciting. We continue. We just explored. We come back, and then we started looking a little bit further east for the next several weeks. We come back on week, I think it was 6. Let's say 6. Week 6, we come back down there, and now we didn't. Now there's a tree structure. There's 2 trees, and luckily enough, we had our GoPros running. The first time we went through that area with the bikes, we caught the 2 trees straight up like that, straight up. Okay, they were both straight up across the route or the trail or the path, straight up. And we're talking about maybe 25 feet across this path. So now the one on the west side was knocked down, and the one on the right, on the east side, was knocked down and hooked under the other one. So this one was arched and this one was locked in, and they're both locked in together. So we were like, wait a minute, was this here before? We don't remember this. So we went back and checked the video, and we did a lot of digging. We finally found the video, and you can see the trees straight up. So something came in, and these trees aren't small. They're not big, but they're not small. They're about, let me see, what did I write down? 3 inches in diameter, the one that was broken over. And this one was broken over, and you can see it was broken, and it was cracked. It was cracked at where it was pulled over. This one was arched in and locked under the other one. So now what we've got is something that was created that wasn't there before. And it's only 2 things that could do that: humans or a Sasquatch. I was totally taken back, because I am not a structure guy. I'm just not, because I'm thinking to myself, why do they need them? They don't need them. They know the woods like the back of their hand. Not for guidance, maybe territory, maybe mating. There might be another reason. Maybe that might be something. But now we've got a structure that was built. Simple structure, but it was built. Natural, we ruled that out immediately, because what are the odds of 2 trees coming over and directly opposite from each other and locking in? Very low. So then we went back, we took all the measurements, the diameters and everything else on it. We come back, we let it sit for a little bit. We're trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Put audios in there, put cameras in there. If we put cameras in, there's that old saying that you're going to be pushing them out if you put cameras in there. So we ended up putting an auto recorder in there, hanging it up in that area. And we did get a little bit of feedback on that. Desi, do did you get a chance to review some of that? And what did you find?
Yeah, so that piece of audio, which seemed, I believe, it was the day or two after what sounded like heavy footfall. It sounded, in my solely in my opinion, and I'm no way an expert. I just love reviewing the audio, and I really love using the software and the systems. But it sounded like heavy bipedal footsteps in that vicinity, in like shuffling noises. If it is something going through brush, something moving brush, um, and it didn't sound as if there was a period of time where it was windy and you caught the wind and then something fell, or the wind was brushing something around, or multiple things around. It sounded as if somebody was walking in that area, like I said, 1 or 2 days after we put that recorder out. And that same area just very recently, and I'm only jumping forward because of the audio. That's the only reason I'm jumping forward right now. Is we had a camera out there. Eventually, there was a determination to put a camera to make sure we weren't being goofed around with by other researchers or other hunters, or hunters in general. Like, why would something like this happen? Because nothing in our experiences, at least the last 4.5 years, ever happened like this. And there's some areas we frequented very often, and it was always Mother Nature that messed up things. It wasn't anything that seemed intentional or had a purpose behind it. So really recently we have audio where it's same thing. It sounds like something is moving. And this is a trail camera with really good audio. It picks up the camera signal from some type of maybe natural motion, a little bit of wind, but you can hear stuff in the same area that we heard the other things on the recorder, which is behind where the structure is, out of sight. But you can hear it and it sounds very prominent. So we don't have hunters on the trail cameras because there's several out there now. We don't have people in general except ourselves out there. So if it is an animal making that noise, it sounds like it's something heavy, something large. But the piece on the recorder, it sounds very intentional with the walking, and even other things, other trees breaking in that audio, heavy things falling, something cracking, like you could hear it coming down, crack, split. And prominent knocks. And honestly, guys, we do not get very prominent knocks. We don't. We've been lucky maybe a dozen times over the last 4 years to hear some knocks that make you go, but it's not very common for us. So when something is unique that you're not familiar with, it draws you into that area even a bit more, especially the timing, everything evolving and kind of layers stacking up where it's not making sense.
Well, I've said that in the past, where it's not just one thing; it's accumulation of the evidence that you collect that brings it to a point of it's either this or this.
Yeah, and more things happened as well. So yeah, as Desi said, she jumped to the audio, and that's current audio that we're talking about. But what also happened? Let's go back. We're gonna just rewind a little bit. So once we discovered that, we made all the measurements of the trees, the thicknesses, the distances, the location, all that was measured. We went back again, maybe 2 weeks later. Now the tree is broken down further. Something came back and we took photos of it. Here, this is a crack before. Now the crack has gotten bigger and now it's deeper. Okay, that's interesting. All right, some time passed. We went out there a few more times, just check, see what's going on. Now we have just recently, last couple weeks, we have another branch that has been placed on top of the structure. So this branch is 2 inches, 1.75 to 2 inches in diameter, and it's approximately 8 feet long. And it's broken off at the end. It's not sawed off. It's broken off, and it's the branch portion of it is laying on top of the uh, the trees where they interconnect. It's almost as if it's helping to hold down the other limb.
Right.
So something had to place it there. Again, human or Sasquatch. I mean, that's the only two. Because if something's going to drag it, some animal's going to drag it. It's going to drag it by the thick end, and it's not going to end up on top. So the physics doesn't work. The only other thing is maybe it dropped out. But we looked up at the trees. The leaves didn't match. The leaves didn't match from the trees locally around it. The trees were dead and old. So wherever it came from, it was placed on there on purpose. So now I wasn't a tree
Was this-
structure guy, and
Well, when
Was
we
this,
got
this
together,
was
we went.
across a
Yeah, go
trail?
ahead.
yes, it was across the trail that we used to enter the location. That's
Right.
the whole thing. And
Well,
crazy.
I'm kind of with you on the. I've always found it very hard to believe that they make like these super, complicated advanced tree structures. But I think it's a really good possibility that they do use trees and branches and limbs to do simple stuff like that. I mean, I've like we were talking about before, I've seen stuff like that myself. I just got done talking with a guy that's got a habituation site on his property, and he was talking about how he thinks that they've got like a nursery on his property, and that's what they've been using his property specifically for. And how they lay branches across the trail that goes into that specific spot. And he kind of got the gist, hey, they don't want me going in there.
Hmm.
And he thinks that's actually where, and he says nursery, as crazy as that sounds, because he's found, I think, like 6 different juvenile tracks out there over the years.
Wow.
So we're going to have him as a
Wow.
guest. So this is going to be a lot of good information. But I definitely, as well as I do, there's no way to know without seeing who actually did it. Who
Right.
actually placed
Correct.
that stuff.
Correct.
But I totally believe they use stuff like that to, either communicate to one another, or it could be as simple as that trail is going into an area where they've got a scout or something, and they just need enough to get you to stop for a few
Right.
seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a guess, but
No, I think you're right, because that's what we believed as well. We were trying to put it all together. Now the creek down there is pretty low, so I'm wondering if that creek was used before as like a barrier, and because that barrier was kind of being broken a little bit, they said, "Well, we'll make our own." And I'm thinking, we're all theorizing about what caused this or why it was put in place. But that's our best guess, and that's interesting about the nursery. That's interesting, very interesting,
Yeah.
because that
Well,
would be a very good reason for do it.
And speaking of guests, we have another one backstage. I want to bring out, because he may have some questions as well. I want to bring out my brother from another mother, my boy, Dirt Road Bigfoot from the Dirt Road Bigfoot podcast.
Hey guys,
There's
Hey,
what's going on, Icebox?
not much. Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary, guys.
no, we
Thank you,
appreciate it,
sir.
man.
Thank you. We couldn't do it without all of y'all.
many more
played a
years
role.
to
Yeah,
come.
you
For
good.
sure.
If y'all weren't helping us out, it would just me and Richard talking to each other, and nobody's gonna watch that. So
Well, it's good to
Unless
be
we take
here,
our shirts off.
yeah,
Dollar bills.
yeah. Now you know why Richard doesn't talk about what he does for a living very often.
$20 is $20.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If I could rely on that, I would definitely starve to death. There's a reason why I went from 220 pounds to 180 pounds.
Good
Um,
And
by
then
the
when
way-
they canceled EBT, I was really out of luck.
Thanks for the comment. Nice to meet you, Troy and Desi.
Hey,
Nice to meet
Icebox.
you, sir.
Yeah, I highly recommend you guys, if you ever get an opportunity to be on Dirt Road Bigfoot podcast, definitely jump on it.
That could
That'd
be
be
coming
awesome.
up very soon.
Sounds great.
So let's go back to the structure thing, because Troy, you got a chance to go out with me, and we found some interesting things. I showed you some old stuff, and you know me, I'm very forensic. That's why anything forensic I don't discredit, as far as I don't pay attention to it. And tree structures are something I pay attention to, but it has to meet, like we discussed, it has to meet a very, very specific criteria for me to take the time to document it and make sure people see what I'm looking at, because some of it is explainable. And I want to discuss, because me and you were walking down a trail I had never been down, and we found a tree bow that was very interesting. Did you get a chance to watch the footage? Because I did do a video on it. And
I haven't. I've been out of country.
so what it was is there's a tree bow, and it's not just bowed, it's pushed against everything behind it and then put behind something to hold it. So when you look at it sideways, you have the bow, but everything behind it is leaning backwards. The bow is pushing everything backwards. And that's what made it interesting. That something had to push it to put it behind that tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
something definitely pushed that stuff back there and arranged that bow that way. There's no question. I mean,
so
from what I saw.
yeah, that's what made it. I try to find that one thing that makes this look different than a regular tree bow, and that was very awkward. It was just awkward. I can't say what caused it. I can't say Bigfoot did it. And if anybody's seen 500 videos that I put out, I never claim Bigfoot on anything. I let the person watching the video determine what they think it is. But it was absolutely very interesting. So, and like I told you, when you start to find these things, just document it, because it may come back later. Just document it. Just at least have a record of it. And even if you're not into structures or not into this or not in, there's certain things I'm not into, but I'll document it for later reference in case something else pops up, or I have a guest that brings it up and I was like, oh wow, okay, this is what I ran into, this is what I have. You know what I mean? It's similar. So definitely wouldn't discredit structures. So.
Oh, absolutely. When we were running our GoPros, if we didn't have them on, we wouldn't have captured those two trees in the upright position. We would have missed it. And that's critical data, that they were there and now they're made into something else.
Well, it happened to me one time because I found a great bow that I documented last year. Okay. And it had a huge tree, 20, 30-foot tree underneath it. Okay. And this tree went through the palmettos. The palmettos were above it. Like, it went through the palmettos. I went back, I don't know, it was a year later, to the exact same spot, and none of it was there. The down tree wasn't there. The palmetto wasn't there. The bow wasn't there. It looked like a completely different area. So I had to do a second video on it to show people this is the ground was not disturbed. There's nothing that says something came in there and ripped things up. And it takes a lot to remove a palmetto bush. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. You've done it. Desi, you ever tried to grab a palm frond and pull it? You can't.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
and it's unbelievable. And this whole palm is gone. It's history. You know what I mean? The bow is gone. Everything is gone. It's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But it's one of those incidences where I'm so glad I documented the first time, because I had something to refer to and go back to, and I created a before and after video to show people what had taken place.
Yeah, that's so very important, keeping everything organized together. And even with this specific structure, you're saying you're looking for something different. The way they were hooked together, just a little bit of hookage, right? We could take it apart in that location, and all of a sudden these trees go up 2 feet. Pull them back down, hook them together, and then they're in place. I mean, where they hooked was probably 2 to 3 inches on each little nook, if that. So it was very meticulously placed that way. It's very odd to think they magically fell together in that one spot to make that difference. So, yeah, how it was built, and the intricacies of it, it definitely makes you scratch your head a little bit more.
Yeah, the documentation really means a lot, because any changes that occur, and then all that documentation that you've done on those arches and the bow that locked it in, that's going to come in handy when that thing changes.
Absolutely. Now, I've had some change due to rot. You know what I mean? After time, nature takes over and the bow is gone, but you'll find remnants of it or something like that. This was completely different. It was completely erased, gone.
Wow.
Hmm. I'll tell
Yes.
you
That
the
was
strange.
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
What happened to
my setup got messed up. I was just gonna ask old Icebox there what he thought about structure.
Well, it's amazing. I'm gonna tell you that. When I first started up here, I was more interested in footprints and other things, but my wife had a sharp eye, and she kept pointing out these tree bows and stuff. And we found some rather strange ones out here. I've got one that I call the Super Bowl, and it's amazing if you actually lay your eyes on it and see what I'm talking about. It's kind of incredible to think about. But I was listening to Richard, and he was talking about a tree bow that was there, then not there. We went camping up there, and right where we was going to camp at, there was a new tree bow. I've been in there, I don't know how many times here before we done it, and it had a log across the tip of it. And this was a young tree. So of course, if you ever see my intro, that one that's got the tree bow, that was the one. And we come back that next spring, it was gone. The log that was holding it down was gone. The bow is
Mm.
standing up, all that kind of stuff, and we don't know what happened to it. But as far as structures, as like a teepee, like what Tony and Des was saying, I haven't seen much of those. Not the ones where I can accredit or assume that it was a Bigfoot, but I have seen multiple tree bows, and I feel like that's more of a marking per se, like don't go here, don't go past this, or go this way. That's about the only thing I can figure with a tree bow itself. X's, I don't pay much attention to X's.
Yeah,
Uh,
icebox. I'm with you on that. And ours isn't a teepee. It's actually two trees across a road,
mhm,
an old dirt road, not a dirt road, but an old road that just has been used in years.
mhm.
And another one was laid on top of it, so it was blocking the road, and that's the way we used to get in. So
Now, when you say lay it
anyway,
on top, can you explain that to me just a little bit
oh
more?
yeah, absolutely. So we had a tree to the east, a tree to the west, and these trees were one was cracked over, the other one was locked in underneath that tree. So then we had
Hmm.
an arch, and we had a tree, and it blocked the path to go through.
Hmm.
Essentially, it blocked it. You could get around it, you could go underneath part of it, but it blocked it. Several weeks later, after a few other visits to that area, another tree branch was placed on in more or less like a T formation with the bushy part of the tree of the
Hmm.
limb, I should say, on top of where the two other pieces interconnected, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
So it's laid
But
across it like this, but kind of like even with the road or in line with the road.
yes, yep. Meanwhile, the other two went across. Yeah, the
Now,
original.
this other tree, was it cut or did it look broke?
No, it was definitely broke. We checked it. There, it's broken off. We photographed it. We measured it. We did all that. Yeah.
Now, how big was this bow?
So the bow was from I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm gonna say about what 14 feet. Is that about right, Desi? 14 feet, maybe
I'd say,
15. And that's
I'd,
and
I'd
that's
say
straight
probably
across. That's not
average.
taking the
Yeah.
arch into consideration.
Hmm.
Yeah. The
Okay.
length of, yeah. Hmm.
I've seen that before where they lay logs across. Where I used to live in Bama, there was a trail that I'd go down to hunt and just explore. And I went down there one day and come back the next day about the same time in the afternoon. There's a log laying on my trail. And of course, I've already knew about these things. And I'm like, you ain't stopping me. I'm keep coming, But I'm thinking, and it's just my opinion. If this was done by a Bigfoot, it would have to be done by a pretty good sized male, possibly the alpha male. Is my guess.
Let me address this question from Mike Nation. At that tree structure, have you guys gifted anything right there to ask for its permission to be in there, messing around in this living room? Just a question.
We have not.
My
Now we
opinion
just
on it, and
now
y'all
we've
might
just
agree. I don't gift.
right.
Hmm.
Now we've discussed it today a bit. We were considering, okay, what's our next steps here? how are we going to proceed? Are we going to gift the street structure? Are we going to change it? Maybe try to aggravate them a little bit. We're not sure what we're going to do because we've been very hands off with this whole thing
Mm-hmm.
up until we place that camera, because we were concerned about people going in there and and maybe hoaxing us. But the thing is that this place is so out. You really have to dig in and stumble upon it. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but because
Do
it's
you
off
visit?
trail.
Do you visit it often?
No, we do not. We do not. For
I,
a while
I,
there, it was like maybe twice a month at the most.
I would say if you visit it a little bit more, force the issue. Make it come to
Okay.
you. In other words, yeah, go across it, do everything. I wouldn't mess it up, but go around it. I've seen Richard go under tree bows and like, I didn't come out of a portal, and just being funny. But I'm saying if you go enough to aggravate them and show them that you're not scared, make them force their hand. Is what I'm trying to
Okay.
get at.
Yeah, that might
Well,
be something we'll talk
I'm
about.
kind of working on a theory myself with the entire concept of that, and uh, I've got to finally have a property where I get to put this theory to the test. I honestly think, from what I've seen from my property and the Happy Place where Richard has been out there with us, I think it makes all the difference in the world if these things know that they are there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can find a way to communicate that we are directly looking for you or we know you are here, I think there's a potential to change, the type of, and like Icebox was saying, it'd be, obviously more helpful if you can get out there more frequently. But even if you're afraid of somebody finding it, maybe replicate what they did down the trail just a little bit in a miniature sized off the beaten path area and then leave. I don't think for me, the activity cranked up around here after I started gifting, but I'm about 99% sure that they didn't even like the gift I was leaving. I honestly think it was just that they're smart enough to know that you're leaving something, whether they like it or not, or touch it or not. And it's just a guess, but I don't know. Maybe try communicating with them like that.
Well, you got to Lauderdale just asked what methods of communication have been attempted. I don't know what you guys do. I personally do not try to communicate. I do not do howls. I do not do wood knocks. I want them to actually instigate any kind of communication. I don't want to do something because one, I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm doing. I don't know how they're going to take it. How do you guys? What do you guys do in the field?
Yes. So Troy and I actually, when I have a voice, I like to make calls. Maybe that's why I don't have a voice. Um, but that tends to be one of every now and then we'll just toss it out there to see like a Hail Mary, see what happens, guys. Right. We've had more coyotes respond to my call. Maybe it sounds like I'm a dying dog. I don't know. But
You get
they
the response.
communicate exactly. The coyotes communicate great to those, and we've had owls jump in and do their thing. Um, we don't typically do knocks. We have historically just you're out there. Why not try anything? We don't have answers. We're looking for answers. We're looking like Johnny. You're kind of saying we're looking to develop a relationship. How do you develop a relationship with somebody, right? You want them, and we want a good relationship. We're not there to take away their home. We're not there to take away their prey. We're there out of truly respect for nature, right? So how do you embody that when you go into the woods? What senses do you have that you can put that out there, right? You're taking care of their area as you would hope that you would, as a friend would take care of yours, right? So we do that. We're very conscious. We pick up all of our trash. We make sure we leave nothing behind. We don't want to harm anything live. We don't want to hurt any live trees, any live plants, any live flowers, from insects to something larger. Like we're very respectful of the land because we know to make any type of difference with them. We want them to connect with us because they know we're here out of pure interest and love for the outdoors. And them as an unknown, as this mystery. But typically calls for us, that would be from a communication standpoint. But I think it's healthy before you do anything like this is to have a clear mindset. We don't know what's going on. Go in there with an open mind. You've probably heard this a million different times on podcasts and probably said it a million different times on either of yours. You got to go in with an open mind, an open heart, an open soul, because they need to know that you're not there to harm them and to endanger them or their families. They're not going to want to be around you, right? They know the hunters do that. The hunters take their prey, right? That's their job. That's their passion, hunters. That's not for us. That's not it, right? We're trying to get to the bottom of what they are, who they are, and why they're part of this life, and how we can get as close as possible to making that connection.
But yet,
Very well said.
Desi's right. Yeah, we don't know how to communicate with them, and it's
Right.
interesting because at this location we haven't done anything. No knocks, no whistles, no calls at all. In other locations we have, and typically we use a strategy with our calls. We sit there, we listen, we look for different things, and at the end of the night, if there's nothing happening, we try to stir things up a little bit and see if we can get something to happen with a call. And Desi's actually very good with her calls. I mean, heck, we had a pack of coyotes come in from way out. You could hear them barking, and they're coming to us. And then she calls again. They start howling. They're getting closer and closer. Heck, next thing you know, they're right in the brush in front of us.
Mhm.
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been out with groups that are the same way. It's like it's something to do at the very end. You've been out there for a few hours, nothing's really happening. So then somebody says, well, let's make a call and see if we can't stir something up. I get it. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm saying to them. I'm scared that I might create a situation that I may not be able to handle.
Yeah, and that's kind of our approach with this area, because we know that it appears that there's a very good chance there's something out here. We've been approaching it with kid gloves and trying to figure out the best approach to engage them and keep them where they will remain in the location and maybe engage with us somehow.
So
I like
things different.
Go ahead, Tommy.
I do things different. I have to say, I'm not so passive when it comes to trying to get in touch with these things. I'm the boss. Let's put it that way. And what I mean by that, I want them to be curious. Why am I in their living room? Why am I coming out here? The more that they get to see me, that I'm not afraid of them, and I know that they're there. And I've been in those situations. Like I said, I go out there and I don't let them run me out. I don't let them. And when I say run me out, if it comes to a danger point, yeah, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? And I'll give you a story in a second about that. But but when it comes to where I go hunting or wherever I go, I don't want them thinking that I'm scared of them. I want them to be curious about me. That's what really draws them in. It's not so much your mindset and all that stuff. I go out there. I want them to be curious. I want them to know I'm walking up and down this hill and I'm looking for you. Okay. Now I probably won't find him, but more than likely, sooner or later, it's going to be curious enough, especially you, Johnny, that it's going to come around your place wanting to know more about you than you are of it. They're very curious natured animals to me. That's what I think they are, as far as that goes. But I'll give you a story. I had went out in the woods where I lived at and went down there, and I've heard about tree knocks. So I get out there and I take me a tree, and it's just me by myself, kind of close toward the evening. Not the sun ain't went down yet, and I took a tree limb, and it's probably about 2.5, 3 inches, and I whacked a tree 3 times. I got an immediate response, almost. When I say almost, it wasn't like a second or two, and I got another three knocked back. Well, when that happened, well, I'm looking at the hillside, a field. Maybe this is an echo. So I did it again, but this time I thought I'd do a little trickery. I hit it twice. I got a 3 knock back. I said, okay, that's enough for me. I'm got nothing on me but just me. I'm leaving. I'll come back later. You have the woods. I'll see you. And I left. But yeah, there's all kinds of forms of communication. And I'm just saying that there are other ways, I feel like, uh, being who you are. You're out there in the woods, you're walking, you're camping, you're fishing, whatever you may be doing, still be who you are, but try to get them curious about what you're doing. Then that's when they'll start showing.
Oh, I agree. And when me and you went out and went on a hike, I was very clear. Go ahead and talk. Have a conversation with each other while we're hiking, because we want to be as normal as possible. See what I'm saying? And we had a great time. We didn't really see a whole lot. We found some great areas. We did found a very interesting tree bow that was very large, actually, very large tree bow. But that's what I said. Let's just talk and walk. That was our first question. We kind of jumped right into it because the first question I had was, what new evidence have you found in the past year? And you brought up the tree structure and stuff like that, which was a good example. So I'm going to jump right into question number 2. And this is for everybody. All these questions are for everybody. Give an estimate of the out-of-pocket expense you have invested in this field. You guys are all researchers. People need to understand the investment, the commitment that we have as investigators to do this.
I hope my family's not watching. I don't think I can say it live, man.
Smart.
Very smart.
I want to start with Johnny, because when Johnny came down, the first time I had met Johnny in person, we had spoken a lot on the phone and calling and stuff like that. But when he came down to Florida, I was so impressed with some of the gear that he had. I was like, "Holy crap, man! I'm kindergarten. He's already a junior in high school, in college." So, start with you, Johnny. What is the investment? What is and give an estimate if you want to give an estimate, but give the public an idea of what we're looking at here as investigators to do this seriously, to do this scientifically.
Well, before our daytime sightings, I had probably spent maybe like within a year, I think, I don't know, maybe about $4,000. So starting from that first year, that was really serious. Then we had our sightings, and I pretty much went insane with everything and dove in head first. Within about 2.5 years, I'd spent about $16,000, and that's just that I'm including the camping equipment stuff because I also bought. I bought three different types of tents for 3 different types of excursions. A big tent for a group, another mini tent for when me and Mike Taylor went out into the mountains and hiked or whatever. And I mean, technically, the last vehicle I bought it specifically to be able to do research in.
Oh my God.
So, like, on it, if you really want to break it down, I mean, it's a lot. I spent a lot, but those first couple of years, I definitely spent the majority, and that's one thing that people they just don't get. I think there's a lot of very intelligent people that are doing this. Number one, number two, I don't think it's necessarily as hard as some people think it is. You do have to be lucky, but you really just need, personally, I think, a history of sightings in an area, and then a viable area that you can get to a lot, right?
Right.
And I honestly think that if a lot of us have the funding to record the entire time we're out in the field, 360 degrees, we would have already proven this by now. But unfortunately, you're constantly battling with you don't have enough memory on whatever device you have. You got to switch out cards, or you run out of memory on your phone. Then you've got to have battery packs. I've got 2 battery packs sitting right here. While we're speaking, I probably got about 10 of them. Um, and it always seems like you're not ready when you need to be ready. Um, Things mess up everything else, But now it's gotten to the point where the reason why I've spent so much is because uh, from the time I get out of my vehicle until the time I leave, I'm going to be recording with something 24 hours because I mean, I've had it happen on the day of our sightings. You've got the opportunity of a lifetime and you're not ready. And let me tell you, you don't want to go home feeling like that. You do not, as excited as I was, every time I think about that now, I want to throw up. I mean, it's just, you just don't want to experience that. So, yes, but it's a huge expense and I spent a lot of money doing it. And, like my wife and I have talked about, if it wasn't that, it would be something else, though. So, yeah.
What about you, Troy?
Well, we're up around probably 8,000 without my vehicle, and I did change my vehicle. Needed a larger vehicle for this reason. Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, throw that in there. It's quite expensive, but straight equipment dedicated only for this, probably around 8,000.
Desi?
Yeah, when I was thinking about the very beginning, the number 10 grand came to mind from I'd say 2020 to now. So 2020, 2025, I'd say about 10 grand. And that's just an estimate of the smallest thing, like Johnny's saying, the memory cards or the business cards when you go to an event or
Right.
plan to go to an event,
Right.
right? To the e-bike or to the multiple things you take camping or to replacing these expensive camping bags because you're trying to fit everything you can. I mean, in Florida, right? You're hiking 5 miles out, and it feels more like 15 miles because you're walking brush and you're falling in holes, and So, yeah, I'd say easily 10 for myself, and kind of makes me a little bit like, holy shit, 10 grand's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Sorry,
the
sons.
exact word I would use.
Sorry, the twins are not going to college.
They are.
That's
They're
about
going
right.
to be squatchers, though. But
They're going to be squatchers. They got plenty of equipment.
absolutely.
What about you, Icebox?
$2.
$2. There you go. He found the budget bin. He found a
Oh,
budget
man.
bin at Dollar General.
No,
Dollar Tree, baby.
I'm like Johnny. I've got, oh, Lord have mercy. When I got my wife involved and, we go to Salt Fork and do some camping and stuff, and she wanted to go. So that cost me probably, I'm going to say 50 grand
Mm.
Wow.
because I had to get a camper, get a truck to pull it.
You did buy a camper.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Now you see what, yeah, that's just to do that. That's not counting the cameras, the night visions, the thermals,
Yeah.
just all of it together. I wouldn't want to even try to add it up. I'd have to sit here run a battery out of a calculator. So I'm
Well, you've been doing this.
$2.
You've been doing this a lot longer than all of us, haven't you? How long have you been doing this, Icebox?
Recently or altogether?
Altogether.
Altogether, I started way back in the 90s. So I've been probably doing that for a couple of years back then. Of course, then marriage and stuff got in the way, or life got in the way. I've been doing this probably recently, probably about 2 years, probably.
Okay.
So, but I've been kind of involved. Matter of fact, one of the guests that was supposed to be here tonight was
He will be.
my first involvement, and he can tell you, he's the one that actually took my story at one time. But yeah, I've been around it. My sighting was back around 82, 84. Let's put it that way. If that helps you. But no.
Well, and people, they don't think about the little things. The amount of gas that we use to get to these locations, because a lot of the places we have to travel. Again, going back to camping gear, even a simple thing as a skillet or a battery pack or a generator, it all starts adding up. it just starts adding up, and you look back going, dude, I'm either prepared for looking for Sasquatch or apocalypse.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's so true.
The bug spray alone. I mean, think about
Oh, yeah.
use
Bug spray,
thermocells,
thermocells.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Johnny sprays this 2,000% friggin' DEET on him.
Hey, I'd say it was the first time I bought it, and let me tell you this right now, it works really good.
Oh my God.
99.9% DEET. I'll probably have cancer within the next 2 years, but anyway, it works very, very good. So we're out there. I'm down there with Richard at their area, and I had put some of it on me, and then I got done and I set it down on my battery pack, one just like this. And I came back a few minutes later to do something with that battery pack, and it had dissolved the rubber that's on
Wow.
the outside of the battery pack. And I'm like, well, I guarantee it's
That's
going
on
to
your
work really good.
that's on your body, dude.
That's on my skin. But I tell
Do
you
y'all
this,
have,
it works.
do y'all have Perilla down there? Do you know what that is in Florida?
No.
What is it?
Perilla, also called beefsteak plant.
No. If it's a plant, I don't know what it is.
Okay, look it up. If you have it, use it. It's very good on repelling critters like ticks, all that kind of stuff, mosquitoes, all
Gorilla?
that stuff. Perilla, Perilla. It's
Got it.
also called beefsteak. It's in the mint family.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's beauty bush. There's all kinds of stuff. Actually, beauty
Oh
bush.
yeah, we've got beauty berry here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's that pretty royal purple
Yep.
that grows out there.
Yep.
If you take those the berries and such, they are actually like DEET. It's just a natural
Really?
thing though. Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
So we all
And it
agree
looks like we do.
we have a very inexpensive hobby.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be cheaper for me to go out and buy a set of ping gloves or clubs and play golf every day. It would be
Yeah.
cheaper. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But let me
Well,
ask you,
it's a passion, you know.
Absolutely.
that's what I was going to ask. Have you not enjoyed spending
God.
that money and using it, getting you outside in the woods, having sometimes an adrenaline rush or a thrill or whatever in your searches and your research and the things that you have found? Is it not worth it?
Oh,
Even if you don't ever get it on film.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
100%.
It's
woods.
I don't get to use
everything's
night
gravy.
vision. I don't
Say-
get to
say
use
again?
night vision and thermal very often because I'm by myself. So I don't go out at night by myself. So when the opportunity comes that I'm with somebody, a prime example is going up to Ohio. We went out one night and I got to use my thermal. I got to use my night vision. Didn't catch anything, but God, it was so worth it to use the equipment and to be out there looking for things. Now, because of the field of work that I'm in, I'm now going to implement some of this stuff in my job. So this stuff doesn't sit here and just collect dust. So I'm going to use a dual purpose type thing. So let me go to question number 3. Now,
Okay.
granted, guys, we do have another guest. Hopefully he makes it. Like I said, he had a Christmas party. As soon as he gets home, he's going to jump in. Hopefully, if not, it's okay. We're having a blast. I'm having
I'm
fun.
enjoying it. Mhm.
I mean, we've already done an hour and 4 minutes and it doesn't even feel like it.
Oh my God.
I'm having
serious?
a blast. Yep. So,
Holy
question
cow.
number 3. What can we do as researchers to move the ball forward in the field in the future? What can we do different? What are some of the things that we think about that we can do?
Okay, so I'm a big advocate of peer review. And the reason I say that is that once we get information, I'd like to send it to somebody. I mean, just like these structures, I've been trying to find somebody that's pretty knowledgeable about structures, not somebody that every little thing is a structure, but somebody has information where they're reliable. And I can send it to them for them to take a look at it and review the information and tell me what they think. if we had some sort of system with where everybody could send their information for them to review it and then get some feedback, that would be great. Just the
Well, we
sharing of
discussed that.
information.
Me and you had a long discussion on
Yeah,
that. And I told
yeah,
you that's what I do. I have my own peer group, and I'm going to include you in that, Troy and Desi, and say, hey, this is what I got. What do you think? Because that
absolutely.
helps us work together. And it's
It
okay.
does.
I can send stuff to Icebox, and he can say, I don't think you got anything there. I'm okay with that because we're grown adults. We're grown adults, and we can agree to disagree or whatever. See what I'm saying? And
Absolutely. And
it's
but tree structures are the problem I have with tree structures are they're very difficult. And most of the people I've seen with tree structures are anything that is leaning against something on X or this or even a ground X, something on an X laying on the ground. Some people consider that. And
yeah,
they
I
talk
don't.
about glyphs and all this. And I don't see any real evidence for that yet. Now, if
Correct.
it grows and there's a trend and there's something there, that's great. But if it's not, let's call it what it is until then,
Right.
but keep that information. But anyway, the peer review is very important so we can get direct feedback from multiple people looking at it, and that way we understand it. Me and Desi did that with the first tracks that we found. We sent them out to multiple people, asked multiple questions, and a lot of them came back with the same thing. So that was great. That was great information. So with the peer review, if we could set up something that with everybody in these groups that get this information out, we could also share that information and build
Right.
off each other. And it's very difficult because a lot of people don't seem to want to share.
Right. And me and you had that discussion, and
Hmm.
I think that's the biggest issue in the Bigfoot research arena. And I'm not talking about people with encounters and people that, show up at all these festivals and conferences and
Right.
share their experiences. We're talking about the researchers that are out there doing the ground and pound. The problem is everybody thinks their stuff is better than the next person. They don't like criticism. They don't like somebody questioning something, and they need to get past that. Okay? That's just pure pride. Get past the pride. See what I'm saying? Because, and I'm going to say this again, Desi, and I'm going to throw you under the bus right now,
Oh,
because I'm not big. I do a lot of audio, but there's nothing I can do with it. I know Desi is an audio person. So she is going to be one of the people that I will go to and say, hey, look, I am going to send you this. I need you to listen to it. I need you, it might be 8 hours long, and go through it and tell me at being, out of the spectrum, you're just a independent listening, and tell me what you think. Tell me what you find. See what I'm saying? Because, and if she comes back to me and says, Rick, I don't think there's anything there, then I accept that because this is somebody I respect, somebody in the peer that I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to move that onto the shelf for whatever and move forward. And we need to, as researchers, start doing that. Start working together and talking. Because I've done it with Johnny. I've done it with Tommy. That, hey, look, what do you think about this? Oh, well, I don't think so and stuff. I don't get upset about it. I'm a grown man. I don't get upset. This isn't high school. I respect the people that I go to. And just because they disagree with me doesn't mean they're not my friend. You know what I mean? They're
mm-hmm.
still my friend.
No,
You know what
it's
I mean?
it's it's definitely healthy to have those type of conversations and debates, right? Like it's good to challenge each other. If you want to find something, you're going to find whatever you think is going to be
Right.
Sasquatch related because you
And
just find it,
and you
right?
need somebody to reel you back in every once in a while.
Hmm.
Ab- Absolutely, absolutely. And the more tenure or seniority when people are out there doing these things, right? And you would think, okay, with age comes more wisdom, right? Like somebody's listening to thousands of hours worth of audio. They probably have some understanding of what this is versus that. Or
Right.
somebody that's studying nature in a different way to see what's a natural growth versus unnatural. Or looking at footprints, right? Like we unfortunately we know we lost a prominent gentleman in the field that a lot of people would go to. And we try to have this conversation several times over the last couple of years. When Dr. Meldrum moves on to whatever happens next after this life, what happens? And we kind of guessed that some other people would jump in and try to help. But let's be honest, guys, like we don't, as far as we know, we don't have very many people in academia, which
Right.
right, that's the standard bar for peer review, right? How does
Absolutely.
that come? And it's different. We don't have that kind of, I don't know, accountability or go-to people to do it. But through the collaboration and getting comfortable with each other and other groups, you help develop that yourself, right? We don't need somebody to tell us, well, you don't know this about that because you're not a primatologist or biologist or a meteorologist or anthropologist. You have street smarts. Well, yeah, they're street smarts, but I spent 1,000 hours in the same area for 5 years, and that didn't happen for the first 4. So something's going on. Right? So collaborating amongst ourselves and developing those connections and that comfort, but challenging each other. Go bigger, go bolder, give me
Right.
more, right? Yeah, that to advance us and go forward, working together. What's happening in Florida? What compare that to what's happening in the state of Washington, or what's happening in the Ozarks, or what's happening in Salt Fork in Ohio, or what, right? Like we know we have these hot spots around the country that we're aware of because of our passion, our interest. But trying to get us together to share this or drop this information in a database that does the work for us. Right.
Correct.
Okay. This is what's telling us. AI is saying this is an outlier based on what you shared, or there's a pattern here at this time of year. What should you be looking for? I mean, technology has come a long way. We have to live with it. We have to grow with it. But it all comes back with that collaboration as well, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. And just on this screen, I've got people I know I can go to and say, hey, what do you think? Sometimes it takes another perspective. That's all it takes is another perspective, and you have to be open. When we say as researchers, we're open, it's not just to what Bigfoot is or does or whatever. It's open to suggestions and other people's perspectives on forensic evidence. Now I'm going to say this to the crowd. We base this on forensic evidence. See what I'm saying? The things that we can touch, feel, smell, hold, measure, do the calculations on. Those things are very important.
Absolutely. Black and white. Absolutely. Black and white, that sets a precedence for our data collection, right?
Right.
When the gray starts getting in the mix, that's when we start scratching our heads a little bit more and say,
Right.
okay.
Well, your friend Brian Darcy, a fantastic guy. I love the man to death. I think he's fantastic, and I need to reach out to him because of some other personal stuff. But great guy, and he made the comment. He goes, if Bigfoot is paranormal, we'll never prove it. We're done. We'll never prove its existence. But evidence, things left behind, that's what we're focused on. See what I'm saying? And like you said, we lost a great guy, Dr. Meldrum. And it's like, who's going to step up into that field? We need academia. I'm not here to prove it to my neighbor. I'm not here to prove it to my friends or family or anybody else. We have to prove it to science. So we need those types of people on our side.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they have the technology, the resources, maybe grant opportunities, right? But I mean, honestly, I don't hear of very many outside of, I think there was somebody that was working on some type of hair sample study, and I heard it from a podcast. And it was a gentleman under the radar that worked at a university. It may have been in North Carolina. That kind of jumps out a bit. Does that sound about right? So
Yeah, North Carolina sounds right.
Okay, so I don't remember the gentleman's name, but that's the only other person that's jumped out because maybe it's happening, we're just not aware of it, right? There was a question somebody had about government knowing and what's getting covered up and what's this. Like, that's the ongoing, never-ending question.
Right.
If we open Pandora's box, like we're never going to get that bad boy closed. But yes, if we knew more of those, and we had more people in the community to grow our network wider, that we could get into these untapped resources that friends that we won't have in our lifetime. unless we're hitting the lottery or we've been blessed with an endorser. It's just not.
Yeah.
We have limitations, right? So we
Right.
got to go with what we got.
So to you, Johnny, same question. What do you feel? Do you know what the question was?
Yeah, just like we were talking about, the money that we spend and all the funding and everything else. That's one of the things here recently that I've been thinking about for years. I refused to make a dime doing this, and I had my YouTube channel set for where I don't make any money off the videos. This whole time I've been doing it for free. But it's a catch-22. It's really the only uh, subject matter that people actually expect you to do it for free. But there's a reason why that is. It's because once money is involved, people don't tend to trust you anymore, or they have a tendency to not trust you if they think that the information you're putting out is tied to your mortgage. Is your opinions, do you have the opinions that you have because you've got a car payment next month and it's entertaining? And
Right.
that a lot of people, I know there's things I can talk about all the time to actually get more followers. There are more people that are probably interested and more entertained by the unexplained aspects of these creatures
Mhm.
than the actual evidence, which is what I found over the years. But I won't do it. That's not what I'm here to do. Like I've always said, if I experience something, I will report it
Right.
as is, and that's about it. But and I've really felt the pressure here lately because of the situation with the industrial company. I don't like to tell people exactly what it is, but
I
they
know what
are
you're talking about.
right. They're expanding, and it's probably going to ruin the activity around here. And I'm talking about within the next year or two.
Mm.
And about at the beginning of the year, I was looking for different technologies, basically, and I came across a company that makes a radar system, a ground-based radar system for the military that fits in a backpack. And you can set this thing up, and it will uh, detect any type of movement. I think it was out to something like 500 yards, so 180 degrees in front of you, and it detects movement out to 500 yards. And I'm
Wow.
like, dude, my God, that would be a game changer. So I just sent the company an email, and I couldn't believe it. Guy sent me an email back, wanted to talk to me, and I was just straight up honest with him. I told him, look, man, this is my situation. This is what I'm doing. This is why I contacted you. And him and I talked back and forth a couple times. He even comes through Georgia. He was going to talk to. They actually lease. You can buy it for $45,000, or he said they've set up leases with companies before. And I thought about, well, hey man, I told him, take it to your boss or whatever, and see if I can lease one. If it's for a month, 6 months, whatever. I would just love to get my hands on that. And everything was going good, and then all of a sudden he just quit contacting me. I imagine what happened is he sent that idea. They've got government contracts, military
Hmm.
contracts.
Right.
So probably the last thing they wanted on the books was a Bigfoot dude.
Mhm.
And I totally understand that, but I started thinking, how in the world? I know two other people right now, and Flat Rock.
Mhm.
Uh, our two greatest advantages over these creatures, if we have any at all, are technology and our ability to share information and communicate over great distances using all of our combined brain power, right? And technology wise, it's imperative to have, I mean, the technology exists, but it's just too expensive. The only thing that I've come up with that I can even conceive of like trying to make everybody happy is starting a nonprofit and to actually get money and then set up, all right, for this 6 months, we are going to focus on this property, and we're going to take the funds and we're going to buy the equipment, and we're going to have however many researchers involved, and we're going to monitor this specific property using all that money to buy the equipment for 6 months, a year, whatever it is, and then move on to the next. And if you made it to where everybody knows every single penny that comes in, and then every single penny that goes to a piece of equipment, then maybe you would have the trust of the public. But I mean, that's just, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get the equipment that we need and, still not look like you're doing it for money, because I'm not a rich man. We've got a stable life, but, $16,000 plus a vehicle, that's a lot of money, but I will continue to do it. And the unfortunate, I dropped a good bit on thermal cameras, but, I've been buying here and there, and that was $16,000 within the first 2.5 years. I really don't know what it is now, but you got to figure every 3 or 4 months I buy a $64 body camera, a Waze camera. You guys know I probably have, I don't know, 15 different types of cameras plus trail cameras. And instead of buying a $64 camera, if you could get the money to get, and the equipment would probably have to be created actually. But if we were, imagine walking around in the woods, being able to cover 360 degrees in thermal cameras with some type of audio recorder for all of them. That would be just absolutely amazing. Or Generation 3, white phosphorus night vision that you can record through. The equipment, it's out there. All the equipment that we need, and I've been saying this, and I actually talked to Flat Rock about this the other day. If you could get a property like mine or like Flat Rock's or whatever, and I use these examples of private properties just because it's a controlled environment. And if they're here, that's because they came here. I didn't have to go looking for them, right? So we already know they're going to be here. We may not know exactly when they're going to be here, but we know they're going to be here. But if you could set up, a thermal camera that's half a mile away that covers the property, we'd already have this done. The equipment exists, but how do you get a hold of that equipment? That's kind of what I've been rolling around in my head over, probably the past 6 months or so, knowing that my opportunity to continue on doing what I'm doing is probably about to change, and I'm going to have to expand. We already go to the happy place. We already have that, but that's 3 hours away. And that's another thing, being able to, the one thing I've learned, especially for my own property and even the happy place, is you can have the perfect property and no Sasquatch are there. But if you're there every other weekend, you're missing a lot. Somehow we got to get to the point that we have people that are serious about this, that aren't doing it for television, where you go to a new location every week. You have got, and me and Captain Joe, when we started this, that was kind of my goal, was to be able to get to the point to where you have teams that, if it takes 2 years to sit on a property, you sit there for 2 years, because that's going to, if they're there, that's where you need to focus your attention. And this is hard, it's hard to find it, but I think it's possible. So anyway, that's what I've been thinking about here recently in the past 6 months or so.
All right. I agree 100%. 100%. And I think everybody on this panel absolutely agrees with you 100%.
Absolutely.
Let's jump into question number 4, and I'll start with Icebox, and then everybody else can chime in, because he'll see this in 2 perspectives. One, as somebody that worked in the past with BFRO, he is doing his own research right now, and is also a podcaster. So this is going to be a question that's probably going to irritate some people. Okay.
No.
Yeah, but I got to ask it. what is the one thing that irritates you most in this field?
Mm.
Mm, they ain't gonna like my answer. No.
About to see your
Oh,
subscriber count drop.
yep, about to watch that thing plummet.
Well,
Ah,
and before you start, and I'm gonna, and I've said this a million times, I'm always gonna be true to me.
that's right.
Okay, it's I'm always gonna stand my ground on what I believe and what I do and stuff like that. So, with that said, we all have our beliefs, we all have our theories, we all have our ideas. You know what I mean? But we all deal with some very crazy stuff sometimes. So, start with you, Tommy. What is the one thing that irritates you most about this field
I think everybody
besides
already knows.
cost?
No, it ain't even the cost. It ain't even the cost. Uh, I was watching another podcast the other day, and they were talking about looking into portals and stuff like that. And I keyed up. I got on there, and I told them it was supposed to be a show about, say, Desi. Next thing you know, I turned that whole show toward me because I'm aggravated. Okay, I've been in here like Johnny said for quite a while. I've talked to people that you would love to talk to today. I've talked to Jeff Meldrum, M.K. Davis. I've talked to
Mm.
Grover Krantz.
Wow.
I've talked to your upper names in the BFRO and stuff like that. Uh, but from what I see, like you said, the other side of, I'm just gonna call it out, the woo side. All right. If you look at it that way, how are you going to prove it? If you can, I'd love to see it. I'm not here to disagree with anybody. I would like to give them their chance to voice and find out why they think that way. If you could do that for me, then I have a better chance of understanding it, But just don't throw it out there as gospel. And you got to keep one thing in mind. These things are for real. They are flesh and blood. And you're sitting there telling somebody, and I had this happen. Somebody come up and said, "All right, mind speak, this and that kind of stuff." And told my wife, said, "What you need to do is leave him at home, go out in the woods, and just go out there and talk to him by yourself." I said, "Is this woman crazy? There ain't no way I'm gonna let my wife go out there in the woods by herself, unarmed, sit around and sing kumbaya to these things coming up and hope they come up and talk to her. It ain't happening. Too many other dangerous critters out there. You're gonna end up getting somebody hurt. That's what aggravates me the most. Is these opinions are not validated. They're not even no evidence of. If you could do it, I'd love to sit and listen to it. I really would. Now, is my opinion the end all? By no means. Um, but what I do believe in has more evidence behind it than what people just want to talk about. I don't do my show for views. Like Richard said, I send if I find something, I put it on the channel. It's up to you to decipher what it is. I'll have my belief, I'll have my opinion, but I want you to think about it, what you're going to do. But it's evidence based. It's trying to find it. It's not just throwing something out there for views. I'm sorry, I'm just not that way. It's either the truth or it's not, or a mistake or it's not. But if you
Right.
got it, I've had people say, "I've got pictures of Bigfoot going, what is that word, cloaking, going into portals, doing this and that." I said, send me the evidence. I'd love to see it. I wasn't trying to doubt him. I'm not trying to, but show me the evidence. When you do that, of course, he never did send me anything. If you want to know, when you do that, I will seriously look at it and be glad to tell you if I think it is right. I'll put it out there for you. I don't care. But yeah, the woo side really aggravates the far out of me.
What about you, Desi? What's the one thing that just irritates you in this field?
I know, really, I think when I look at everything from the whole picture, and I've loved this topic area since I was young, and I didn't go looking for the topic area. I had a grandfather from Poland who had a passion for just unworldly things. He wanted to believe in the things that nobody believed in. He wanted to believe in Sasquatch. He wanted to believe in sea creatures, ghosts, UFOs, you name it. So this has been this type of topic area or content has been a part of my life from a very young age. And of all the research I've done historically or anything in my current time in Florida versus my time in Pennsylvania, which that's 11 plus years ago, I know we have the answer. I know we have the answer. I know across the country we have the answer. I feel confidently those above us with all the technology and the power and the funds, like Johnny mentioned earlier, they know, they have an idea, they know.
Mhm.
And we're doing this day in, day out. We go to bed thinking about it. We dream about it. We wake up. What's the next best thing? What's the next idea? What am I missing? But we cannot, as a research society, if you're the BFRO, if you're the NAWAC, if you're the Lipid Project, if you're on this group, that group, all the groups, we cannot find a way to get our stuff together and figure this out as a greater community. That's the thing, because I work in academia myself. That is the thing that like gets under my skin a bit, because I mean, even amongst the five of us here, eventually, maybe if our other guests can join us, I bet you we put our stuff together and we'll be like, holy shit, that happened here, 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 or that print looks like our print here. I heard that noise at that time of night. But we're all in it. I hope for the reason why we're in the show, we really just want to get to the bottom of what's going on and what happens after that. Is it preservation? Is it protection? Is it something different? Or is it too much for us to fully ever grasp and understand that we're just not going to get there?
Right.
Because we all got these different things going on. So that just kind of gets under my skin a bit, because I think we have that answer. We probably have that answer 1,000 different ways, but we're not all on the same page. I think the same way, nor do we want to share. We're protective of our areas. We're protective of the things we've learned, and they could be opinion. They're not fact, right? We have hypotheses. We have theories. We try to do our best to put it together, but our theories may be similar to other people's theories, right? But it just there's no go-to location. There's no litmus test for us to get all together and see what we can do. And we're taking the funds, we're taking the time, our resource of time away from our loved ones, our jobs, our other pastimes, hoping that we're going to have that glorious moment and we capture it. You know, if it's by video, it's by audio, if it's, like a few of you have had incidents or awesome opportunities to have a Class A sighting. We have not had that. Would that be that? And then that's it. Check it off the bucket list and you're done. I know for him and I, it's not.
I didn't know you
Right.
would.
Right. But then it's going to drive you further.
Right.
Our tracks drove us further. The noise we heard, the heavy breathing, the aggression, the things moving you can't see, the tree breaks, the falls, that drives us further. And man, is that exhilarating? Does that make you feel alive in a way other people don't know? Absolutely. Can we capture that and put it in a bottle and drink that every morning before we go out for the day?
Right.
That is amazing. But I think we've got so many great people doing this. And man, we just can't get there. We can't get there. And it's a lot of this. It's a lot of
Right.
my way or highway. It's a lot of like, shame on you. Let me badmouth you. What is this? This, like you said earlier, Rick, this is not high school. This is not drama.
That's
Most of
right.
us are 30 plus and getting this shit done.
Right.
We just can't. We do so much of this. It's the weirdest thing I've ever been a part of, but amazing on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Well
you,
said.
Troy?
Well, very well. Yeah, I'm more. I'm going to focus on the technical side. So for me, doing proper research, like for example, I was not a tree structure guy. I'd need a lot of evidence for me to even go that way. So to come across this, now I have something like, I'm like, okay, I gotta dig in and research this this structure and take it as a possibility. So now you have to be open to that, but you have to document it. And the biggest thing I see is a lack of documentation. So I've created a document of a timeline, the measurements, all that information. It's in a document and needs to be shared out. We did the same thing with the tracks that we found several years back, the measurements and all that. Now, did we screw that up? We did. We weren't prepared. We it was the first time out when we first found this stuff. Well, might be the second. I don't remember, Des, but one or two. And we made mistakes. We corrected that. We wrote procedures. Okay, if this happens, this is what we're going to do. So it's a protocol, but we need to engage on that and share that information out into or with our peer group, and maybe share it out further where there's a database where people can pull in. I had a conversation with someone about a year and a half ago where I had something when I was hunting many years ago. Bigfoot wasn't even on my mind, where I was walking through an area and I heard something sound like it jumped down behind me, took a couple steps, and this is in Florida. So this, whatever it was big, hit the ground hard, boom, and a couple other jumps. And then I'm thinking, what the heck could that possibly be? It wasn't a tree branch, because a tree branch wouldn't sound like that. It was something. I'm thinking, well, maybe a hunter jumped down out of a tree after I walked by him. Made no sense. Anyway, I'm talking to a gentleman, and he was telling me that they had the same thing happen to them in another area, and they were claiming that Bigfoot was doing it. So heck, that would be great in a database. This is maybe a behavior that they do. Don't know why. Maybe yes, maybe no, but man, that information would have been nice. It was great to hear it. The point is that if we had documentation where it could be shared, we could really grow ourselves and each other in this I want to call it in this field. Let's just say field. But it's hard out there. You've got people that are trying to get clicks, trying to become celebrities, trying to be all these other things, and their heart's not really into finding out what's really going on here and researching the Sasquatch. That's it for me.
I agree. What about you, Johnny? What's the one thing that irritates you most about this field?
Ooh,
Besides your kids not joining the team.
Yeah, besides my failure of children. No one cares about your straight A's. There's a couple things that have irritated me over the years. I learned some very hard lessons very early on about it's just straight up dishonesty. The amount of people that I've met that are willing just to lie about things and make things up. And there's a million reasons why. And I shouldn't be surprised with the amount of people in prison for all kinds of different things. But it's just the lying and the nothing irritates me more than to document some of the things that I've documented or some of the evidence that I've gotten, and then have somebody say, "Hey, you need to go check out this person over here. Maybe they'll be able to help you out on your property." And then the person that they send me is like known hoaxer, like straight up, just fake, And it's very hard. There's a dishonesty that comes with a lot of this with some people. And it also kind of bleeds over into the entertainment value of and see, I don't blame, there's a lot of people. In fact, I just got a really good email from a guy the other day, a highly intelligent individual. He's I guess you would call a white collar professional, very educated, works with computers, is also a pilot. And I think he said he's been looking into the topic for about 3 years. But that's pretty much all he's done, right? And then he sent me a list of like theories that he had and some things that he'd learned and blah, blah, blah. Well, 99% of the stuff that he sent me, I don't agree with. but he's at least. And then he mentioned a few people that he got stuff from, and I'm like, dude, um, there is a reason why. And look, I've been very, very open about the fact that I don't know. I know that there is a spiritual side to our reality because I've experienced it and it was life changing. But it was a God spiritual thing. Um,
Hmm.
and then years later, the Sasquatch stuff happened. I saw absolutely no overlap, and I've seen none of it involving. There's just been no weird stuff like that. I mean, there's been a few things that have been unexplainable, really bad luck things, but nothing where I can say this is evidence that these creatures are this or whatever. And I've been very open about that. But there is a tendency, and I'm trying to say be very democratic about this. There is a tendency for the hoaxers or the people that are trying to get clicks to lean a certain way.
Mhm.
And they go down that road, and I know exactly why they do it is because you can literally make things up,
Hmm.
show no evidence, and
Right.
then say, well, the reason why I can't show you evidence is because they've got these spectacular, just absolutely amazing abilities over here. So I can't show you. It's just beyond us. And they could just it's literally a built-in excuse to never provide any evidence ever. And you can just make things up as you go. I guess that's, and again, I am open to, if I ever see proof myself that a Sasquatch steps out of a portal, or
Hmm.
I don't, for whatever reason here, like with the past couple of weeks, mind speak has been a big thing that's been going around in the groups and everything else. If I ever experience something like that, I'll tell everybody.
Yeah,
And
I
then I'll
would too.
probably be like, I experienced it, but I'm done. Okay, that's it for me.
Mhm.
This isn't my field. You know what I'm saying? But that's what irritates me. I guess it just irritates me to know that people are out there, including myself, and a lot of the stuff I do could probably be considered rudimentary. Like, it took me 8 years to get a video of a rock that had been thrown, and I had gotten other videos before, but they weren't coming across horizontally. So a detractor could say it fell out of a tree. And I know that. There's no way you weren't standing there with me, so I can't prove exactly what happened. But finally, whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, I got a rock throw on video that all
Mhm.
you could accuse me of hoaxing. You could say I paid a dude to stand in the bushes and throw it, but that's it. You cannot claim that this rock fell out of a tree, right? 8 years to get that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have another side over here that says, I've got all the answers. And I know exactly what it is. I know what it can do, what it can't do. And I'm like, dude, you're not doing research. You're just not doing research. That's not what you're doing right now.
Mhm.
You're entertaining people. And I think everybody wants to rush to the finish line and say, I think people feel an obligation to pick a side, and they feel an obligation to say, hey, Sasquatch is this. And then they stick to that path because nobody wants to look stupid.
Right.
Everybody wants to look like they know what they're talking about. They always want to be right. Well, I'm not. I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes. I don't know exactly what these things are. I don't know exactly what they're capable of. So I try to stick to reporting what I experience and what I find and nothing else. I don't go off into a bunch of stuff that I don't fully understand. Things I don't have any, actual experience with. But like with the rock throw, we all know that's like one of the first things you learn when you get into this topic. One of the first stories you hear. That's what Sasquatch does. They throw rocks. They throw sticks. You hear it all the time. But how many videos of a Sasquatch throwing a rock do we have? Right? It seems like we've all just kind of put, not all of us, but a lot of people have put the cart before the horse, and it's like everybody's skipping steps. And I
Mhm.
see it all as like kind of like a criminal investigation. I know that that rock throwing video or a focal or whatever else alone is not going to prove to the masses that Sasquatch is real. But if you can put all that stuff together and then hopefully, like we're all trying to do, get one on video, then you can just hand it over and be like, look, I've got this that they do. I found this. I got a vocal. I got a rock throw. And now I got the video. So somebody out there pay attention and invest some time and effort into this because it's real. I think all of that together, we have a better chance of getting, like y'all were talking about, getting the scientific community, to actually take it seriously. If they will, I don't. I have a theory that the government's probably not going to let that happen.
Mhm.
But pipe dreams, I guess. But yeah, obviously I have a lot of gripes. But and the last thing I'll say is this: as many people as I've seen do dishonest things, steal people's research areas, steal information, just all kinds of weird stuff. I knew individuals that like really had good information, and I knew by the things that they were talking about that they had experienced these things because I'd experienced them myself. But at the same time, they would lie to you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, dude, why? You already got good stuff. You already got more experience than most people. Why are you making this? And I knew that because it was confirmed from somebody else I knew. Anyway, but the last thing I'll say, even though I've experienced a lot of things that made me very distrusting, and I brought up that email because the dude was saying that it seems like a lot of Sasquatchers are siloed, just like you were talking about. Um, they're acting independently, and a lot of the reason why I think people do that is because they have a hard time trusting each other. You don't really know. You just don't know what you're getting into with people unless you actually get to know them. But anyway, the last thing I will say, as many bad experiences I've had with that, I've probably met twice as many people that are good, honest people.
Mhm.
So as much, it's just a matter of weeding those out. And I wish to God people would quit sending me, hey, go check this dude out. He says that they did this with a marble and he's got 70,000 followers and then fake pictures. And I'm like, how are y'all not? It's just, I'm like, what are y'all doing? But anyway,
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And between you and especially Desi, everybody hit some great points. And I think what irritates me the most is the research field itself, the people involved in it, because I've met some what I thought at the time were great people that I admired. I admired their research. I admired what they were doing. And throughout this field, you'll end up meeting these people or talking to these people or becoming cordial with these people, and then you find out that they're not who they portrayed themselves to be. And I think that's what irritates me the most in this field is, especially me. And me and Johnny's had this discussion. I've openly said this discussion about Johnny, what brought me, attracted me to Johnny and Johnny's research. And I won't go into that tonight. Johnny knows, and people that know me know. But I've ran into other people that I felt the same way in the beginning, and I used to use the word integrity. It's all about integrity. You know what I mean? Taking ownership and being an honest person. But because I used the word integrity, that became a problem. And I was like, wait a minute, how is me, and integrity comes a long ways with me being in the military, and especially in the job field that I'm in, integrity is everything. Everything. Okay? I have terminated people because of integrity. Okay? And just because I use the term, all of a sudden I don't have integrity. Oh, anybody who uses that term all the time doesn't have integrity. Dude, define that. Somebody define that statement to me. How can you come up with that conclusion? See what I'm saying? And then, you hear the warnings. Hey, don't associate with this person. Don't associate because this is what they do and this is what they do. There's a lot of people that are big names in this field that actually have a very poor reputation. See what I'm saying? When you dig deep and researchers, it's people that are interested in the field. They're interested in the topic. They're the ones that are subscribers and believe in all this. But when you get to the bare bones, the actual researchers that deal with these people, have conversations with these people, you're going to find out the truth. You're going to find out the real sense of that person. And that's what I think bothered me the most is doing this is I've ran across people that literally I held at a very high accord and they blew it. They destroyed it. See what I'm saying? Their integrity is gone in my sense. These are people that if they worked for me, I would have fired them because of their actions or words or behaviors and stuff like that. So I think in the field, that's what irritates me the most is, and I've made this comment many times on the podcasts and different channels and stuff like that is, the Bigfoot, and we use this term loosely when we say, it's a family or it's a group or, whatever. It's a very hostile environment. It's a very hostile environment. So if you get into this field and you start putting stuff out there, you have to have thick skin. Mm-hmm. You really do, because there are some very hostile people because it comes down to one word, pride. Pride. All of them think they're better than you. All of them think that their evidence is better than what you have. See what I'm saying? So it becomes a pride issue. And if researchers would get past that, and like Desi said, start working together, start having communication, start talking, and start creating these peer groups and having open discussion with one another as professionals, as human beings, and not taking it personally, then we'll go a lot further. We'll move a lot further. You know what I mean? Because in the end, with everybody on this panel, this is a hobby. Nobody's paying us to do this. We get up in the mornings. We motivate ourselves to get up, get out of our warm bed on a cold day or a rainy day or whatever day and go out in the woods and hike. Troy's been out with me. I like to walk. I like to hike. You see what I'm saying? And we put miles on ourselves. We get out there and we do these things for no money, none whatsoever. Okay? I'm not famous. There's nobody on here that's famous. We do this because we have a passion for it and we want to know the truth. And it's a sad thing that the people that we think would help us find that truth are the ones that are not being truthful. And I think that's what hurts the most.
I mentioned something earlier, that I knew some bigger names and this and that. Have you not noticed on my show that I try to get people like Troy and Desi and Johnny and you and Flat Rock? I can name countless others. None of them have big names. And there's a reason I do that. Now, sure, I'll probably do an interview, who knows, whenever I decide to, try to, with a bigger name. But I get more enjoyment out of listening to people like you guys. It is more honesty, and you get more information, even though it may be something similar that you've talked to somebody else about already. It just builds on and it creates more of a, how would you call that, Johnny, when you hear something over and over again? What's the word for that? Of evidence.
An ex-wife.
Just a pattern.
A trend.
Yeah, okay, sorry. A trend, a pattern.
A trend, yeah.
Yeah. If you take all the evidence that we feel like that is Bigfoot related, you could prove it right now in a court of law as far as that goes. But what I'm trying to say is it takes people like Troy, Desi, you, Johnny, Richard. I don't call myself a researcher, but I'm just trying to say those are the guys that I want to hear. That's the ones that I want to listen to. I don't care about the big names. That's just views. All right, let's just call it like it is. That's all it is, entertainment. But if you really want to learn, you talk to people like these guys right here. And these are the ones that we need more of. Now, if you believe in, let's just say it, the woo side, You have a decent civil conversation and bring what you got, that kind of stuff. And you can collaborate, and then you can start really working that kind of a situation out in your head. I'm all for it. I could be wrong about what I believe, in my opinions. If you could prove me wrong, I'd love to. I would really
Well, that's the
would.
funny thing is
I
I'm
love that.
forensic based. I know Troy's forensic based. I know Johnny's forensic based. I know Desi's forensic based. And there's no complaint about that. Nobody's denying footprints, hair, smell, structures, or whatever. Those are all forensic things. Nobody's denying that. So there's no argument on my evidence or Johnny's evidence or Troy's evidence or Desi's evidence or whatever. There's no argument. The argument comes from the other side because, like Johnny said, they're not bringing the evidence. They're not bringing the proof. See what I'm saying? We can bring it. I can bring you, pictures and video and measurements of a footprint, and this is what we found, or or I can show you audio and say, this sounds like a howl. I don't know what it is, but it's a howl. Then nobody questions it's a howl. The question is, what is it? See what I'm saying? So I absolutely agree. Absolutely.
I got a question. And I'm to everybody. And this is I'm interested in this. Often I say Bigfoot's an animal. Okay, flesh and blood. All right, that's my opinion. All right. There are people that say that they are human. What do you think it really is? Animal, human, mixture of both. What's your evidence base now? What do you think it is?
Well, that's a tough one because we have to go with what we have at hand, evidence wise.
Yeah.
I have to throw out any of the DNA tests because there's so much controversy, and once there's controversy and that water is muddied already, you got to throw it out. So I don't care about any DNA studies and stuff like that. The bottom line is we got to stop comparing these things to other things. Compare it to something that's more viable to what it is. So if I say it's a great ape, I'm not saying it's a great ape, but let's compare it to something that's more viable to what its behaviors are. See what I'm saying? We can't compare a Bigfoot to a panther, but we can to a gorilla. You see what I'm saying? So to me, I don't think it's human. I don't. I think it's its own species. I think it's its own independent species. And we're out there trying to find it. We're out there trying to locate it and get as much evidence as we can. If it comes through a portal, it's still a living and breathing thing when it steps on this side of the portal. If it's walking around our forest, it's a living, breathing thing that we need to find the evidence for. See what I'm saying? And that's what I think the research needs to focus on.
Well, Tommy, this wasn't. Go ahead, Troy.
Okay, so I agree with that. I don't know whether it's animal or human. I know it's flesh and blood, and the rest of it will be to be determined. However, if we start looking at the behaviors, I try to match up the behaviors from what I see, and it's very difficult. So they don't use fire, they don't use weapons, they don't use all this other stuff. So where do they line up? Chimpanzees, and I'm just throwing some stuff out there. So chimpanzees, what's the deal with that? If I remember correctly, they're 99% almost the same as humans in their DNA. However, there's a couple things. So how off do you have to be before you're human? It's all TBD. We don't know. We have no clue. We don't have a body. We don't know. So I try to focus on finding out their behaviors. If I can find out their behaviors, I believe we can figure them out, where they're at, when they're at, what they're doing, how they're doing it. And that's what I focus a lot on. But I don't know whether they're human or animal or hybrid. Don't know yet.
Go ahead,
Well, I've been working on something which is kind of funny. I'll bring this up. You're not going to be able to see it. I wasn't prepared to do this in here because the camera's not good enough. But basically, I have a list over here where I was working on like the different types of evidence and actually getting to this exact point. Richard, get out of my head. And up at the top, you can't see it, but I've got different options for what these creatures are: ape, interdimensional, spiritual, hominid, right? And then starting at the bottom, I've got the different types of evidence that convince people that these creatures are real, starting from the very bottom, which is just documented history, like Native American history. Like that's like the bottom of the barrel. But, sometimes people, that's all they need to hear and they believe it. And that's just pretty much how it worked. And I went up to secondhand sightings, modern firsthand account, physical evidence, documented interactions, video, multiple videos, one source, multiple videos, multiple sources. And then when you get here, to me, the thing that I guess you can say kind of irritates me is when people are super convinced like what category it's in. And now I'm not talking about like I think it's this, because I agree. I mean, I've got my opinion of what I kind of think they are. But people that state unequivocal, because I'll put a video out and I'll have 3 different people tell me that these creatures are 3 different things, and the one thing they have in common is they all know they're right. And that just simply can't be right. So in order to know exactly what it is, you're trying to figure out like what level of evidence is it going to take to know that? What is a requirement for either you or the community in general to have accomplished in order to say, hey, it is interdimensional or it's an ape? And I started with, at the bottom of the barrel is DNA, then long-term observation, a body, and then everybody would be convinced by one in captivity that you could actually go see in a zoo. That'd be top of the line evidence for everyone, right? But you've got to have these. You have got to have these, or at least one of these, in order to say 100% what it is. And nobody has any of these yet that we know of. So you can't have a 100% answer as to what it is, because we haven't accomplished that. Now, I agree with Troy when it comes to, like what they actually do. And I can't remember what word you used, Troy.
Behavior.
Their behavior, exactly. And the behavior that I've witnessed or experienced tells me they're highly intelligent. And to me, from what I've seen, they've got to be in between human and ape somewhere, just from the amount of intellect they seem to have and the things I've seen them do or experience them, or what I think they're doing, at least. Let me say that. Like work problem solving and doing things like they know how we are going to interact to certain things. They know how to manipulate us. They seem to know if they throw a rock over here, we're going to look at the rock that's thrown over here. And then meanwhile, you've got one that came up behind you. Apes, chimpanzees, gorillas, they're all very, very smart. But there seems to be one level above all that these creatures seem to be capable of.
Yep.
But that still doesn't tell me, without DNA, a body, one being in captivity, or long-term observation, exactly what it is. So, good job, Richard.
Well, that was Tommy's question.
Again? Oh, Tommy, yeah.
That was Tommy's
Tommy,
question. But
I do have in my bushes, man.
But I do have more questions. And on this one, let's start with Desi. What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of Sasquatch research that you wish people understood? There's a test. There's a test on this later.
Goodness, I'm gonna fail. Misunderstood aspect. There's a lot of people think we're searching for something that doesn't exist. So you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, you are um, going after something that is not real, right? So um, that piece of the search, I mean, at least for myself, fuels me more. But you don't, for someone to have an assumption or a firm belief or affirmation that you're doing this, as often as you are, and you're going to have no results, you're going to have an outcome, and you end up empty-handed. Um, that really kind of shakes me, because more often than not, we all know we're going to go out there and we're going to have no experiences. But I'll be damned, we're going to find what Mother Nature has presented us, right? Mother Nature has given us all this. God has given us all this. All the things that we have torn down, especially in our state, we're taking acreage out at a blink of an eye. But every week, something else goes up. A building goes up, and trees come down, right? So there's much more to this research than our true effort of finding this answer and the knowledge and the power behind that. It is just having this appreciation for life that surrounds us that many people miss every single day. So I'd say for those,
Mhm.
I'm not going to say the non believers. Yeah, I'll call them non believers, not haters, just non believers. Open your eyes up, man. Get out there and enjoy what life has to offer you. It's not always behind a computer screen, on a big screen TV, or on your cell phone. It is out where we all started from. We all came from somewhere, right? And to the question that Tommy answered or asked a little bit ago, man, like, we're trying to figure this out, but this could be if it's between this, our DNA and the small percentage of difference between us and the ape, such a small percentage of difference with our DNA. I have my mind and my heart, and I'm just saying this because I didn't get a chance to bring up my little 2 cents, as I really think we have we're discovering, science is discovering other hominids every year. A body is being dug up, bones are being dug up that are making our evolutionary chain grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And I really don't think we've scratched even the surface of it yet. So, but yeah, that misunderstanding is you're wasting your time, and everything going along with that. And you're not really getting anything out of this. We're getting a lot out of this. And it's not just what we have in nature. We're building friendships. We're making new family members. We don't have to be blood to be family. I mean, with Troy, I'd do anything for him, and I feel confident he'd do anything for me too.
Yeah, but did he? But did Troy eat your toe? I ate your toe.
That was a good toe, wasn't it?
That was a great toe. Those that don't remember, we were at the Bigfoot conference, and she had this giant Bigfoot pretzel, and she kept, hey, take a bite, take it. So I took a toe. So I ate your toe.
You're welcome to many more, brother.
What about you, Troy? What's the most misunderstood aspect that you wish people would understand?
Well, I think and it's pretty basic, I think, but the amount of work that we put into it and the amount of evidence that we don't get out of it. So because of we found these tracks, what, 3-4 years ago, and we found little bits of tiny evidence along the way, vocals, maybe a track here, very hard to tell, but nothing concrete until recently, 3 or 4 years later. Now we have the possibility of a structure. So all that time that we put in, we've got really two big possibilities. The first one, we're 98% sure that these are real tracks. They're slight possibility they could be something else, but 98% sure, because we're never 100% until we see them lay that track down.
Right.
Anyway, with the structure now we've got another bit. So we don't get evidence every single time we go out. It doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't.
It takes a lot of research, a lot of time in the woods to get real factual evidence. Johnny Two Bears mentioned hoaxing, very difficult, right? They ruin this field for other people. When people are hoaxing, they destroy the real research. They destroy it. and they
Correct.
can't. They need to stop doing that. They need, for clicks, for whatever reason why, they need to stop it. This evidence is very difficult to come by, and we put a lot of work into it. It's
No, I
just the way it
agree.
is.
I
Just the way it is.
agree 100% because tomorrow I can go out and create something.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I get a million views, or I get this, or I get that. I go from, I mean, my channel, my personal research channel is 2,500 subscribers. I can go to 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Because there are people that have proven that if you do the crazy stuff, you'll get subscribers. But I'm true to myself. It's about that integrity. See what I'm
It's
saying?
integrity.
And I've said this, and I'll say it again. I've said it a lot. Be wary. It is a red flag that a researcher all the time has the it. He's oh, look at this, and this is this, and this is that. That is a major red flag. Troy, Desi, myself, Johnny, we've been doing this for a long time. Okay? And in 20 years, I've had enough close encounters, no class A, but close encounters to count on one hand in 20 years.
Yeah.
So you can go to my channel, you can go to your channel, go whoever's channel, and you'll see 500 videos and there's nothing there. But when it does happen, when you get that howl or you get that footprint or get that, it makes it all worth it. See what I'm saying?
It does.
But could you create a footprint every single week? Could you create a structure every single week? Could you create a howl every single week? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But it's about integrity.
Yep.
So I tell these people, if you're watching a channel and they have evidence all the time, that's a red flag. That is a red flag, because the people I associate with, the people I do research with, the people I do my peer reviews with, all of them will tell you that's not possible. It's just not possible. It's impossible. It's not even probable. See what I'm saying? So that, again, I think that's the part that people, in my part, that I wish they would understand, is I can go out. Like me and you, Troy, I'll use you an example, and people that have gone out with me. We went out that day for what, 3-4 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. And how much evidence or possible did we get? Very little.
Very little.
And then I take that 4 hours and I've got to produce something that's palatable, 30 minutes. People watch the videos and say, oh, it's a 30-minute video, a 40-minute video. They don't realize the hours that are spent in the woods. Hours and days. I mean, there was, up until this past year, I have definitely faltered off a little bit, but I was doing hundreds of hours in the woods, camping, researching, hiking, doing all this stuff, and coming out with nothing. But it's like golf. I don't know if any of you guys have ever played golf. I can go out and play golf and play shitty every single week. But then that one time you hit one good ball, you come back the next day to play again. And that's how bigfooting is. That's how bigfooting is. It is real.
Real goes crazy. But
And,
you know what? Your integrity is so important. If you look at, I don't know if you ever seen the video. I've got a thermal video of a deer. Okay. But if you look at it initially, you've got shoulders and you've got a head.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got two of them like that. You switch over from this one and that one, and it looks like you've got a human or you've got a Bigfoot out there.
I saw that video.
Really, yeah. But if you wait and go through it, all of a sudden the ears come out and it's a deer.
Yeah.
But when I first saw it, I'm like, holy crap. I couldn't believe it. And then the ears came out and I'm like, oh my God. And
it happened.
It wasn't immediate. It took some time.
Right.
But you also have to know your equipment. But I could have stopped that. I could have just said, okay, here it is. And then stopped the video before the ears come out and said, look what we got.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And it's all about integrity. The same thing happened to Johnny and us. We went out one night down here in Florida, and on the way back to the vehicles, we caught something on thermal. I don't remember who caught it on thermal, but it was on thermal, and it was upright. It looked large, and it was moving behind some trees, and it was upright. It was definitely on two legs, and it was in the trees. And we're all looking at it like, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. And then we realized it was one of the guys that got back to the vehicles before we did, and we were on the bend of a road that was curving around. So these trees that we thought was in the woods was actually, because it's nighttime, you can't see that well. Remember that, Johnny? You remember that? And it was somebody by the trucks. It was somebody by the vehicles. And it looked so, again, like you said, you could have just put that out there and people would have jumped all over it.
They would.
All over it. See what I'm saying? But through the investigation, we had, 5 researchers there. We're all looking at information. We were able to narrow it down that somebody was at the truck walking by. They were moving. And
we had to get everybody lined up and measured out and find the spot where we were at and everything else.
Reenacted it and everything.
I love it.
And we came to the conclusion that it was one of us over by the trucks and stuff like that. Like you said, that's where the integrity comes in. That's where it comes in. You know what I mean? And that's like I said, that's when I knew Johnny was the real deal years ago, was because he put something out and a week later, maybe shorter, maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. It was a very short period of time. He put another video out where he went back, he critiqued his evidence and said, I'm sorry, I was wrong. This was not what I thought it was. This was what it was. You know how many people would have not done that? Would have not done that. And
Good
that's
job.
what told me Johnny's legit. Johnny's legit.
To be honest with you, it's also a little self-serving too, because the fact of the matter is, if you're honestly involved, if you're doing this to research and to learn and everything else, it's like the old saying, actually not to get biblical here, but building your house on a strong foundation. Just personally, if you go out and you get some type of evidence or whatever, and I've had this happen before actually, and it's why I pay attention to when people find stuff in my videos that they think it's wrong, or maybe I missed something, or they see Einstein or whatever. I go back every time. It doesn't matter whether I believe them or not, or whether I think they're right or not. I check it out. Because if you go and you get a piece of evidence and you're wrong and you won't admit it to yourself, then it takes you down this path that's not going in the right direction already. And if you just keep stacking falsehoods on top of each other, for you personally, you're never going to get anywhere. You're not going to. And I had one of the best examples of this is I had just gotten a video of, or not a video, an audio of what I believe to be one of them on my back deck. Really good audio. I got up that morning, I was sick. I didn't even think I was going to be able to make it to work. And I went and lay down on the couch, and then I could hear like a very deep voice through the wall. And then the dogs went crazy. I got up. I'm like, all right, regardless how I feel, I got to go to work. So I went to work. I got there and I pulled the video up, and like it gave me chills. Like I got an adrenaline rush because it's like this thing's talking, and it's obviously walking on my back deck. So I knew they were getting on my back deck, and I didn't know that before. And not too long after that, I got in the habit of when my alarm would get off or come off, I'd pay attention to exactly when I would let the dogs out. And then I would check the cameras to see if it either caught anything or caught anything on audio. Well, I got up one morning, the dogs went crazy. I got to work. I pulled up the audio, and there was a wood knock. And I can't remember whether it was right before, it's like right after my alarm went off or something like that, or right before I went to the door, one of the two. And this happened twice in a row. And I'm like, dude, they know when I'm getting up. Like they're communicating to one another that I'm about to open the door or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it was. Then I had a guy say, "Hey, man, uh, I found your noise." I'm like, what do you mean I found my noise? I know what that noise is. It's a Sasquatch. Well, he had zoomed into the video and found that on a particular place on my gutter, the condensation would fall and it would hit right next to the camera, and you could barely see it. You couldn't see it in the air. I never caught it, but you could just barely. It's a crappy camera too. I don't even know how this dude found it, but it barely. You could just barely see it hitting about the same time. You could see a little bitty splash of water, like right off to the very edge of the camera. And I'm like, well, God dang. Obviously, it's not a wood knock, and they're not communicating when I get up. I was going down an entire path that was completely and totally wrong. And if I wouldn't have been able to admit that, or that dude wouldn't have found that, I'd still be telling people, hey, they keep up when I get up in the morning. Well, that wasn't true, So it's just not gonna. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of self-serving, and to me, um, as cheesy as it sounds, this is almost a religious experience for me. Like it's almost like a test. Like you literally can't. You've got to be honest at all times about what you're experiencing, or try to be at least. Doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. You're not going to get anywhere if you're lying to yourself at all. And that was just, I don't know, something I found another a part of this that I found to be very interesting.
Good example,
Awesome.
Johnny.
Awesome.
They
Now,
do
if
that
you-
in real life.
Let me
you
throw
wanna know
another
what-
question.
Hold
Go
up,
ahead, Tom.
Hold up.
Go ahead, Tom.
You said something about misunderstood. Is that what the topic is? The question?
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's correct.
just
What's
yeah.
misunderstood?
The question was, what is the most misunderstood aspect of Sasquatch research that you would want more people to understand?
Okay, that's a simple answer. Us. You, Tony, Des, Johnny, me, Richard, countless others. They think that we're crazy. All right. Half of it
Yeah.
comes from people that never step out of their house outside to go work or go golfing or some other activity. They don't, until they see one, they're not going to believe, and they're going to think you're absolutely nuts. And it's a misunderstanding that I'm going to just put it out there. Yeah, I've seen one. Okay, 3 feet away. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that there are something out there that exists. And yes, I believe it's Bigfoot. It's got a Bigfoot. It stands upright. This and that. But that doesn't make me crazy. It wasn't something I was looking for. It wasn't. It's just something that happened. Like you often said, Richard, it was a happenstance deal. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I aggravated it and want to check me out. This reason I said what I said earlier, but we are misunderstood. We're not trying to. I mean, yeah, there's people out there trying to prove it, trying to get rich and stuff like that. But for the people like us, it's not about money, and it's more about, for me, it's more about learning, like Troy said earlier, their behaviors, their habits. I'm more curious about, can you actually find areas that they're in and be able to find where they're at? That's very interesting to me. And that all goes with all the parts of the research, the smells, the sounds, the habitats of why does one person see one and the other one doesn't, and why you see one crossing the road. All of that is very interesting to me. It's not that I'm crazy. I probably, all four of y'all look smarter than I am, and I'm not going to sit here and call you crazy, but it's the people that won't get out there. I heard a story one time, a guy was a farmer. And you got to remember the elderly too. They live out in the woods all the time and never seen anything. Okay.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden a happenstance happens, and now they know there's something out there, and they believe now. Now, are they supposed to be crazy all of a sudden? No. Now, some of their opinions is a little bit, shall I say, out there. I've seen one that seen a Bigfoot, and Next thing he was talking, well, I believe they're from the Nephilim. He ain't even done no research into it at all. He just watched some videos and made a claim. You know, it's us. That is what I'm trying to say is we're the ones that are misunderstood in the general public's eye. Okay.
Right.
All right, I'll shut up.
That's a good perspective.
Yep, very good.
Well, I've skipped some questions because some of them I really wanted to delve into, and we did. And hopefully, you guys like the questions. But this is the one. This is to me is a very important question because this is what we go to bed at night, we think about, we dream about, stuff like that. If you had the resources, money was not an issue, equipment was not an issue, or anything like that, where would you like to go research? And anyone just jump in. Tell me where you would like to research.
Falk. You asked me that question up there. Falk. Arkansas. I would love to go to. Oh, and I watched one the other day said that they're still down there, whatever this creature is. I would love to go down there. In fact, why? Because they made a movie. It was very famous. It was very, how can I say this? It influenced a lot of us probably in a small way or a big way. It was a fantastic movie, whether it's true or not. I don't care. It was very influential to a lot of people, just like Patty was. And I think you would meet some of the best people down there, just your down home people. I think I would have a great time going down there and doing research on if I had no other place to go. Falk, that's where I would go.
What about you, Desi? Where would you go? Unlimited resources.
You know, it's I've gone back and forth in my head just for the last minute or two when you asked the question, because I like the audio. I love the audio piece of all of this, and it's so weird thinking like, how can you love something that much? But all the things I've we capture and I listen to and I watch on the software, and then you compare one piece to the next and you see the similarities or the differences. I cannot get out of my head returning or having the opportunity to return to one of the biggest pieces of audio in history, which is the
Sierra
Chattanooga
Sounds.
Sierra Sounds, and just to pay honor to Ape Canyon and that whole experience, even if there has not been recent activity. I think it would be more of like a spiritual, like getting back there and just kind of like, wow, like just feeling what's in the energy and that experience that happened how many years ago and what, those gentlemen were facing. That's like a bucket list item for me, to be honest.
What about you, Troy?
All right, so if I went for population or number of sightings, it'd be towards the Olympic Peninsula up in that area. They seem to have like nests, and you've heard all the stories. But that would be an area that would draw me to it, especially if I had all the resources and equipment. However, I don't know that area. It would be starting from scratch again, right? Digging in and maybe getting some local resources, people involved, and things like that. Maybe that would help. But I know where what we're doing here in Florida. I know the area. I would put it all into here. And the reason
Nice.
being is that I think we've got some good locations that we've got tracks. It looks like we've got another site that we could just dump all that gear and information in there and then push through and find out what's going on. I would do it here because I think I'd get the results I was looking for.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because you spend a lot of time, and I know the location. I won't say it on here, but you it's a very popular location, and a lot of people, if they do or do not realize, is Florida ranks third in the nation in sightings. It ranks third, so we're lucky enough that we technically don't have to go far. We're not traveling, even though I've had the opportunity to travel to other states and do this. I don't have to. See what I'm saying? The opportunity to have an opportunity to capture this thing on video is just as good here as it is anywhere else. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I think for me, if I had unlimited resources, money, whatever, everything would work out perfect. And it's not necessarily 100%. Bigfoot would be 90% of it, but Oregon, I just think it's such a beautiful state with the mountains, the rivers. I would love to go and do a long-term camp out on kayaks down the rivers and do my research there. I think if I had the opportunity to do that, I would love it. But there's some places I have been that I would love to go back to if I had the finances to go back to. Uwharrie National Forest in North Carolina, I think, is an amazing area. I think Georgia is amazing. I think Ohio is amazing. I think opportunity is there. I think we're in a great time that, you know, and somebody brought this up in the chat room and about explaining why are there so many sightings now. And to answer that is, one, I would cut 50% of that as BS, to be honest with you. We've been in this field a long time. We all know 50% of it's probably not true. It's misidentified, or it's somebody creating something, or somebody wanting to be famous, or whatever. But the reason why there's more sightings today than there was 50 years ago is technology. We all have fantastic cell phones. We're all out there with a handheld device that can do audio, it can do video, it can do pictures. More people are getting out in the outdoors. They're spending more time in the woods, and which is something I promote. I've done it many times on my show, on the podcast, on Icebox show. I'm a big promoter of people getting in the woods. Spend time in the woods. You know, Desi's got 2 twins. Get them camping. Get them out there. Get them interested in it. Spend time out there. The more time you're in the woods, the bigger the opportunity is for this to happening. Because, like Icebox says, it's happenstance. If you look at all the reports that you've read, all of us have read reports. It was happenstance every single time. The person happened to be at the right place at the right time. They were camping, they were hiking, they were biking, they were fishing, they were hunting. They happened to be at the right place at the right time, and they had a Class A encounter with a Sasquatch. Again, I bring this up as point 2, is Bigfoot is not this man killer that's out there killing people and destroying people, missing 411, all that crap. It's not true. Every one of these sightings that you look at, 99.9%, the thing looked at you, you looked at it, and you both went your own way. It did not harm you. How many times have y'all heard stories of somebody walking out of the woods and this thing paralleled them, but never attacked them? You look at Ape Canyon. Look at Ape Canyon. You brought that up. They were basically being under siege, but do you think that cabin back in that day could have withstand a full frontal assault by these creatures? Absolutely not. But it didn't kill them. It did not attack those. It was irritated. It wanted them to leave, is what I think that the message was. Y'all need to go.
Point across. Yep.
But it never harmed them personally. See what I'm saying? So I encourage people to get in the woods, spend time in the woods. When I go out in the woods, and Troy brought this up when we went out, I said, "Are you armed?" He says, "No, because I know you are." So, and I go out there with my pew pew, and not because of Sasquatch, because there's so many other things out there that want to do us harm, and most of us researched in Florida. Johnny's come down and researched in Florida. There's a lot of things out there that can harm us. Hogs, pigs. I have to say pigs. If I say hogs, people think I said hawk. Pigs will kill you. And not only kill you, they will eat you. There will be nothing left of you. And I'm out there by myself. There's rattlesnakes, cottonmouths. There's just
Richard?
a ton of things. Yes, sir.
I've had to move to my phone's dead. I've got
Okay.
it plugged in, but odds are it's not going to,
No problem.
it's going to keep kicking me off. And my favorite part about that is I just bragged about how many battery packs I have, and I didn't use one.
It's a curse.
Anyway, thank all of y'all. This has been great. Absolutely amazing. I really appreciate y'all coming on, and it's been one of the best conversations I've had. Just having conversations in general, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and want to let y'all know that I appreciate it.
Right
Yeah,
back
well,
at
we
you,
have
buddy.
to.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, y'all made our 1 year anniversary special. You know what I mean? And we had a lot of people to that we could have had to come on the show. Every one of our guests were fantastic. We enjoyed every interview. But it's hard when you've got 30 something shows to reach out to people and say, hey, who's available and who can do this and stuff like that, you know? And I think everybody here was like-minded. You know, we're very, very, like I said, on the same frequency on what we're doing and how we're doing it. Again, I'm going to say this, and I will always say this. Everybody on here has an open invite to always come to my research area. I have nothing to hide. It's a beautiful place. I'm not stingy or anything like that. I think it doesn't have to be me to prove this thing. It could be anybody. If I bring Desi out there, or bring Troy out there, or Johnny, or Icebox, or anybody out there, and if they are the ones that get the video, or they're the ones that get the evidence, I'm okay with that. See what I'm saying? I'm not stingy about any of this. So you guys made this great. I love discussions like this. We all are. We take this very serious. We love the topic. I think if any of us were together at dinner or something like that, this is all we'd talk about all night long. You know what I mean? And I thank every single one of you guys for being here. Just to throw it out there, we did have one guest that didn't show up. I understood. He said he had a Christmas party. He does have some things going on in his life. But it was going to be David Sidoti, just so everybody knows. I was going to have Dave on. He did message me a couple days ago and asked me what time, and he said he had a Christmas party, and by the time he got home, he probably, just said it's too late. I don't know. But I did send him a message and, huh?
He's drunk right now.
Yeah.
But I did send him a message and said we missed him. We miss him. He would have
Probably
been a great part of
very
this.
interesting to ask him those questions right about now.
Yeah. I hope you guys like the questions. I really hope you guys like the questions, because I sat there with a pad of
Very
paper, old school, nothing Chat GPT, and I sat down and I just started writing questions that I thought were interesting and keep this topic going and stuff like that, And again, I'm going to thank you guys too. We did. We're almost at 2 hours and 40 minutes, and that's
Wow.
fantastic. That's fantastic. We haven't had a
That's
long show in
awesome.
a while. And I hope we have more shows like this where it's open discussion, just talking about theories, ideas, and stuff like that. It's fantastic.
Very enjoyable.
So, again,
Absolutely. Appreciate
you guys are welcome anytime you want. And I told Troy that if you guys, Desi or Icebox or anybody, and especially Johnny, because Johnny will in a heartbeat, if you come across new evidence, you come across something you want out there, you're more than welcome to be on the show. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Send me pictures, send me video. I'll get it on here. We'll all look at it and have a good time. Just fantastic. I can't believe it's been a year.
It's been a good year for you guys too. I'm proud of y'all.
Yeah, it really has. And let me say
You
this,
guys
Richard. Let me interrupt you. Richard has done about 90% of the work when it comes to getting guests, and him and I, it's part of the reason why I enjoy doing this with Richard is because I've never been a social butterfly. I'm just not built like that. I mean, I love talking about the subject for hours, but Richard he's done 90% of the work when it comes to reaching out to people and building contacts. And, I think he's pretty much knows every single researcher in the state of Florida. So he's, that's always been good.
That's great.
But Richard has definitely stepped up to the plate and learned how to do a lot of, everything dealing with the podcast itself. And
all self-taught, man.
Richard, just want to say I love you, man.
I love you too, man. Hey, but I'm going to tell y'all this, and this is a funny story. I had options I had options.
Oh yeah.
Because here's a backstory. If anybody wants to listen to the backstory, I was on Icebox's show, Dirt Road Bigfoot, and we had a great show, and we were laughing and talking and having a great time. And it was probably about, I don't know, 10 minutes before the show was about to end. Johnny sends me a text. I'm literally answering the text while I'm on the show, and Johnny goes, "Hey man, you want to do a podcast?" And I was like, "Sure, what the hell? Sure, man." So we get off the show, and I'm packing things up because I had a different setup than I have now. And then Icebox calls me. He says, "Hey man, would you like to be a co-host on my show?" And I was like, "Dude, man, if you had messaged me 10 minutes earlier."
You know what that means, Rosie. I'm going to have to kill Johnny now.
Yeah.
Well, $20 is $20.
$20.
I enjoy podcasting, but
I'm playing, Johnny. Johnny's one of my favorite people. He knows I'm playing.
I'm open to suggestions. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, either direction I went, if it was with Tommy or if it was with Johnny, both fantastic guys. I consider them brothers. They're very close to me. You'll never hear me say a bad word about them ever. And I'm just so happy to be doing what we're doing. I'm so thankful that Johnny invited me and said, "Hey, I want to do this. I want to collaborate with you." It's fantastic. I'm enjoying it. It's a rat race sometimes. It's a rat race. It's difficult doing a podcast. I made this comment to Tommy a long time ago. I said, you can't be a podcaster and a researcher because both of them take up so much of your time. You have to choose one. And here I am, a prime example that I'm not doing as much research because I'm so busy with the channel, but I enjoy both equally. As long as I'm talking Bigfoot and I'm dealing with Bigfoot, I'm enjoying myself. And again, this does not pay the bills. This is a hobby. I've made great friends. I consider Desi a friend. I consider, Troy a friend, and Johnny and everybody else, and Tommy and David and Marie DeMont and Mike Aguilar. The list goes on. You know what I mean? It's a huge list of people that I consider friends in this field. And I'm so thankful for that. And I truly feel that God has blessed me with some great people in my life. And it's one of those old sayings, God brings people into your life for a reason. He also takes people out of it for a reason. So those that I originally were friends with at the beginning of this years ago, and you're not my friend now, there's a reason. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Yeah. There's a reason. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys. You guys are awesome. And I need to
thank you guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
And Desi, if she would answer her phone, I need to get with you. I need to get with you on audio. I have audio. I think there's some great stuff on there. I don't know jack on audio.
I knew it. He was setting you up. I knew he was.
You knew it, Tony. Yeah, man, right? Yeah, you let me know. You can email me some samples if there's short enough clips.
See, that's where your first mistake is. You think I can handle something like that. What'll happen? I got you. What'll happen is I'll do the same thing I did with Troy. Is you're going to have to come with Troy and investigate here, and then I'm going to hand you my audio recorder, and you're going to take it home.
I love it.
And it plugs right into the computer, and do whatever you do. See what I'm saying? Because there are some good stuff. This is all stuff in Ohio. It's all stuff in Ohio.
Oh my gosh. I
love it. I've got a vocal. I've got something that is outside of my tent. Something tapped my microphone like this, boom, 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 but hit it once, boom. There's some great stuff on there. Once I hear it, I don't know what to do with it. I've tried Audacity. I can't figure it out, whatever. So again, like Troy, because Troy's got to come back at some point because he got to return my cameras, but no rush, Troy. Enjoy the cameras, use the cameras. If you've got 3 cameras in the woods now, put 5 out there because you got 2 extras. Just use them so we can figure out what the issue is. But again, you have an open invite, Desi. Come. I will hand you my audio take it with you, listen to it. It's 8 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that
see what you find.
I love that stuff. What I'm
Yeah.
taking from this is you're doing the podcasting. We'll continue researching, and then we'll continue to collaborate. Maybe like a monthly feature.
There you
Well,
go.
like I said, I've got a
can
new
do that.
job. I start tomorrow night, and I'm back to doing what I love to do. So it's going to open up opportunity to get back in the woods. And
Good.
so I'm very happy
Awesome.
with that. I'm very excited about that. Even though I've had a ton of time to be in the woods in the last 8 weeks, I just did not take advantage of it because just dealing with so many other things in life. But I plan on getting back out there, plan on being in the woods. Troy's been out to my research area, one of them anyways.
Nice.
It's a beautiful area. It's very large.
Beautiful.
And I plan on getting back out there. And like I said, Desi, you're not far. You guys are not far. Troy was not that
No.
far.
Nope.
So you guys,
No.
anytime you call me, because I'm off Saturdays and Sundays, you just call me and say, Rick, we want to come out, spend the day. It could be 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. I don't care. And we'll go out there and hang out. And a lot of people don't realize it's the camaraderie. You know what I mean? It's not just, I tell people all the time, it is a win-win situation with us because we love the outdoors. We love hiking. We love camping. We love being in the woods. It's a win-win. So if we don't come out with any evidence, we still had a blast. And that's what it
love
boils
that.
down to.
I think
So,
2026 is looking pretty good. So we'll get some collaborating to go. So
Well,
great.
and I'm not, and I feel bad because Troy has invited me. He has. It's just either scheduling or something has always interfered. Davis Adote's invited me in the last month or two. Again, it's scheduling. It's just bad timing at that moment and stuff like that. But we will work it out. We will work
We'll
it
get
out.
you out here.
So, but I want to thank
Sounds
every
great.
one of you. Tommy, you're my brother from another mother, man. And
You know it.
I'm very thankful that this year I got an opportunity to go to Ohio. You and O'Bear were fantastic hosts. You treated me great. I enjoyed every moment that I was there, and I was so thankful that I got to meet you in person. You know what I mean?
Me too.
And I've got a chance to hug you and say, you're my boy. And I look forward to those moments. Hopefully in the future, those opportunities arise again. And I'm just thankful. I'm just very thankful. So,
Yeah. And it
This
was
is
fun
season
having you.
4.
Yep.
yeah,
Too bad I can't make chili.
you did great, man.
Oh.
I was scared to eat a lot of it because my tent was 300 yards away from the friggin' outhouse. And I did not want to get up at 2:00 in the morning in 50-degree temperatures and put on all my clothes and run to get to the outhouse because I ate chili. See what I'm saying? Because I would have devoured it. I was just scared to because I didn't want to get up in the middle of the night and have to take care of business. So, but I appreciate it.
Chili.
No.
I
Hey,
love
tonight
chili.
was fun. I enjoyed meeting Troy and Desi. Thank y'all for coming and let me be
Good
a
to
part
see
of with y'all. Richard, always, man. Anytime you need me, thank you for letting me come on. And Johnny, Johnny needs to call me. Call me,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah,
He's watching.
I'm sure the same from us as well. Really enjoyed meeting you, Icebox. Richard, always a pleasure, and enjoyed meeting Johnny as well. Having conversation. Great conversation tonight.
I'm
Loved
telling
it.
you, Tommy, get them on your show. Get them on your show.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I've got.
I have their contact information. They can't run.
Yeah, I got a few other things I got to do. And, look for it coming up. It'll probably
Good
be in
deal.
January, but look for it, Troy. and
He's
Desi.
been trying for a year to get Brian Darcy on there. So maybe you could do one show with all of you guys on there.
I don't
We
know.
could possibly
I'll
try.
give up on Brian. No, Brian's a good guy. I really would like to do a good interview with him, but he's busy. I understand that, so no big deal.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
great guy.
I really like Brian.
He's another one you'll never hear me say anything bad about him.
No. All right, well, guys, I got to get out of here myself. Thanks for having me on here, Richard. It's about my bedtime. Some of us got to work tomorrow.
Yep, I got a big day tomorrow. I'm meeting with my client and work out some details and good to go. I'm very happy. Life is good.
All right, guys. I'm out of
Congratulations
here.
on that 1 year.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
I appreciate you
Took the
guys.
words
Let's
out of
do it
my
again.
mouth.
And if y'all have anybody that you deal with or whatever, and you think they'd be a good person on the show, send me the information. I'll hit them up. I'll talk to them.
Okay.
Sounds
All right.
great.
Will do.
You got, yeah.
Hey, hope you have
Yeah.
another good year.
I hope so
Yep.
too.
Happy holidays, guys.
Yeah.
God
a
bless
great
each and every
Christmas.
one of you guys.
All right.
Hey, have
See
a
ya.
good night. Bye.
Bye, guys. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody. The chat room was off the hook tonight. You guys did outstanding. Always respectful. Always enjoyable. I tried to get as many stuff posted on there as possible. Thank you for being a part of our 1 year anniversary show. I hope we have another great year. Again, if you've had an encounter or you're a researcher and you want to be on the show, email us at sasquatchunredacted@gmail.com. We'd love to talk to you and possibly have you on the show. Again, take care. Christmas is coming up. God bless each and every one of you guys, and have a happy holidays. And take care. And we love you guys.